Last Raps Baseball is on the air, and tonight we are bringing you the Seibu Lions and the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks live from the PayPay Dome in Fukuoka. Stay tuned for Game 2. It is on the way. Ohio gozaimasu, konnichiwa, konbanwa, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Raps Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. The views are our opinions and are not affiliated with the NPB, the Pacific League, or their sponsors. We are giving you live English reports on the game being played, and tonight it is Game 2 of the playoffs featuring the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks hosting the Seibu Lions. Last night the Hawks jumped out in the advantage. They took the first victory in the series, a 5-3 win over the Lions. And first of all, we'll give you the starting lineups for the visitors from Saitama. Leading off and playing second base tonight is number 5, Shuta Tonosaki. Hitting second and playing third base is number 31, Shota Hiranuma. Hitting third and doing the catching is number 10, Tomoya Mori. And the cleanup spot and playing first base is number 3, Hotaka Yamakawa. Batting fifth and in center field is number 30, Brian O'Grady. Batting sixth and doing the designated hitting is number 1, Takumi Kuriyama. Batting seventh and in right field is number 53, Ito. Batting eighth and playing shortstop is number 6, Suzuki Genda. And batting ninth and in left field is number 7, Yuji Kaneko. And they are going to be facing now Higashiyama. For the Hawks, he is 10-6. He's worked 136 innings this year. He's allowed 114 hits, 47 runs, all of which have been earned. He's walked 37 and struck out 94. He's got an ERA of 3.11. Well, that is the starting pitcher for the Hawks. Well, now the starting lineup for Fukuoka, and leading off and playing second base wearing number 68 is Masaki Momori. Hitting second and playing third base is number 23, Yukio Shudo. Batting third in center field is number 36, Taisi Makihara. And the cleanup spot in right field is number 9, Yuki Yanagita. Batting fifth and doing the designated hitting is number 54, Alfredo Despania. Batting sixth to first base is number 7, Akira Nakamura. In the seventh spot and playing shortstop is number 6, Kenta Imamiya. Batting eighth in left field is number 32, Tetsuro Yanagamachi. And batting ninth and doing the catching is number 19, Takuya Kai. And they are going to be facing Tetsuya Mai, who takes to the hill for the Lions. He is 5-1 on the year. He worked 59 2/3 innings. He scattered 37 hits. He allowed 16 runs, all earned. He's walked 34 and struck out 61. And he has an ERA of 2.41. But this is the playoffs, and it is a little bit different as the temperature of these games have picked up a little bit more. And that is where we are about to stand. We've got Officer Stream in the house. We've got Breathe Deep in here as well. Breathe Deep is asking for the picks, and he says, who are his picks to win, or who are my picks to win this one? Well, I'm going with the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. They are going to win this ball game here tonight and close out the series. They're definitely the favorites, and they are playing good baseball. It's their friend Officer Stream is in the house asking if he can be a mod. Well, to be quite honest with you, you got to be around here for a little bit to earn those privileges, and we do have some people that are mods. We don't have a ton, but we do have folks that come in here and are moderators, but we just don't hand those out like they're candy. You got to earn them over time, and there are some people who've been around here for quite a while that would be upset if they didn't get their stake in the matter first. But we are glad to have you with us. Hopefully you can stick around for some of the action. We'll be back in 30 seconds with the call as the right-hander Neo Higashiyama is completing his warm-up tosses. We'll be back in 30 seconds with the call after this. Welcome back, everybody. Now Higashiyama has completed his warm-up tosses, and we're ready to get this one underway. As coming up for the Alliance, it'll be Shuta Tonosaki, Shota Hiranuma, and Tomoya Mori to get things going. For Tonosaki, he is in the leadoff spot tonight. There has been a shuffling of the lineup for the Lions. Tonosaki was 1 for 4 last night in the first game of the series, and the first pitch of the ball game from Higashiyama is a fastball that misses upstairs for ball 1, and the count is 1-0 to Tonosaki. We are underway at the PayPay Dome. So 1 ball and no strikes. Right-hander against the right-hander. Higashiyama kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. This is line down the right field or left field line, and it just goes foul. Almost hit the umpire down the left field line as they're working with 6 officials. That ball was hook-barreled, and the left field umpire had to make the adjustment to get out of the way. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Tonosaki. As we said, Tonosaki was not in the leadoff spot last night. They dropped Kaneko right down to the 9-hole. And Suzuki Genda, who is batting second, is batting 8th tonight. So some shuffling in the lineup for the Seibu Lions. And here's the pitch from Higashiyama. It's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Tonosaki. On the season, Tonosaki hit .215. He's got some pop. He had 12 homers to go with 47 RBIs. He waits here on the offering from the right-hander who kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is popped into shallow center field. Moving back on it is the second baseman, Momori. He's camped out underneath it, and he makes the grab, and that is 1 up and 1 away here for the Lions in their half of the first inning. That will bring up the third baseman, Shota Hiranuma. Well, Hiranuma was one of the players who wasn't in the ball game last night. Ning Ting Wu got the opportunity to start for the Lions, and it was Hiranuma who is replacing him tonight and hitting in the 2-hole. He batted .260 on the year with a homer and 3 RBIs and some part-time duty for the Lions. And the first pitch from the right-hander Higashiyama is a fastball taken at the knees for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Hiranuma. Friend Rory says he's got the Lions and the Bay Stars tonight. Well, I'm not sure that the Lions would be my pick. There's a fastball that just misses off the outside corner, and the count goes to 1-1. And I say that just because I think that the Hawks are looking to not only close this one out tonight, but they're looking to at least get a little bit of a couple of days off before they have to take on those Oryx Buffaloes. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. There's a fastball that comes under the hand and is taken under the hands and taken for a call and strike by Hiranuma, and the count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. We got the overhead replay view of that and certainly did catch the inside corner. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. There's a fastball. It's taken for a called third strike. Hiranuma stood there like the house by the side of the road and watched it go by for out number 2. So 2 Lions up and 2 Lions down here in the first inning, and that'll bring up the catcher, Tomoya Mori. We got Barry in the house tonight. He says the fight in Phil's. He says he's also all liquored up a little bit, and he's got Denny's Grand Slam in the morning. 11 long years for those Philadelphia Philly fans. And how about those Mariners hammering the Blue Jays today, says Rory. I don't know if it was a hammering, and I would say they were very fortunate after being down 8-1 to come back and to certainly do the job against the Blue Jays. And there's a first pitch fastball delivered to Mori, taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. I had a chance last week. I was down in Seattle to get a chance to see a couple of the ball games. They played the Tigers in the doubleheader as Luis Torrens came on in relief to pick up a victory in that first game. And there's a breaking ball that misses down and into Mori, and the count is 1-1. They were trying to manage their pitchers and get them set up and keep everybody rested going into the playoffs. The game was tied going into extra innings. They brought Torrens in to pitch the 10th. He ended up giving up a run, and then what ended up happening is, of course, the Mariners scored 2 in the bottom to win the game and giving Torrens a victory. And there was a breaking ball that catches the outside corner, and the count goes to 1-2. Rory says that's where he's at. He's in Seattle. Seattle's a great place. Enjoy the city. I also enjoy the fact that I don't have to drive into it as much anymore. Parked at the Northgate Mall and took the light rail into the city. You can avoid all kinds of traffic and frustration. That is for sure. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Mori. It's a fastball, waved at and missed. And Maury is down on strikes for the third out of the inning, and the Lions go quietly here in their half of the first. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're through a half inning in Fukuoka. It is the Seibu Lions, no score. The Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks coming to bat. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the bottom of the first inning after this when we return. Glad to have you with us. Here is one of our Japanese Hall of Fame memories. Nothing, everybody. We'll be back in 45 seconds with the call at the bottom of the first. Hang tight. Welcome back, everybody. Tetsuya Amaya is just completing his warm-up tosses, and we'll be ready to get this one underway. Defensively for the Lions tonight across your YouTube screens from left to right, the left fielder is Yuji Kaneko. The center fielder is Brian O'Grady tonight. Getting the nod for the Lions. In right field, it is Ito. Around the horn from first to third, it'll be Hotaka Yamakawa at first. The second baseman is Shuta Tonosaki. At short, it is Suzuki Genda. The third baseman is Shota Hiranuma. The battery, of course, is Imai and Tomoya Mori. One thing I find always frustrating when Imai is on the mound, and he hadn't pitched a whole lot this year, missed a lot of action as he was on the shelf. The first pitch is a breaking ball delivered and hook foul down the right field line. It's going to reach the seats. The count is quickly 0-1 to Masaki Momori. Imai is always playing with his hat. He's always frustrating to watch because he's always losing the hat and having to get it onto his head properly. Every time I watch him pitch, he's playing with his hat. It's a regular piece. So here comes the 0-1 offering now to Momori as he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is now 0-2. For Momori on the game last night, he was 1 for 4 as he was able to get himself a double and drive in a run. And so he was also had a couple of ground outs and a pop out last night. As there's a fastball that is delivered and misses down, and the count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. We got our friend Mick in the house tonight. Glad to see you in here. We're doing the rest of the attendance. We haven't seen Alexander Leggett yet, or our friend the living room. There is a breaking ball swung on and missed, and Momori is retired on strikes for the first out of the inning. So 1 hawk up and 1 hawk away, and that will bring up the third baseman, Yukio Shudo. The Hawk lineup tonight is pretty much the same lineup as it was last night. The only difference is that Shudo has moved his way up all the way into the 2 spot. And pretty much everybody else has been dropped down a spot in the order from there on out. Shudo last night was 2 for 3 and an RBI. He bats from the left side against the right-handed throwing Imai, who delivers a fastball low and in, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Shudo. Shudo waggling the bat, waiting on the offering here from the Saitama right-hander, and he kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball that misses up and away, and the count goes to 2-0. Shudo is very versatile. He got the start last night at third base. And then after Yanagamachi was hit by the pitch, they moved him into left field and used his speed out there for defensive purposes. And there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and count now goes to 2-1 to Shudo. Our friend Mick in the chat says, "Let's go Lions. I didn't bet, but I'm cheering." Well, the Lions certainly have got an uphill battle in this series to go. And there's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is knifed into left field. It's down. It's into the corner. It's going to be extra bases. Rounding first and heading to second is Shudo, and he's going to get there safely with a stand-up double. It's going to be the first hit of the ball game, and Shudo has delivered. And he's rewarded his manager, Fujimoto, for moving him up into the 2-hole with a 1-out double here in the first inning. Friend Mick in the chat says he was happy that Seattle won today. I have to say the Mariners have been playing good baseball. And the Toronto Blue Jays, I'm not saying that they haven't been playing good baseball. They won 90 games for the second consecutive year, or 90-plus ball games, and both times they've gone out in the first round of the playoffs. I was concerned about the Blue Jays pitching, but I thought for sure they'd win today. We'll get to talking a little bit about that stuff as the game progresses on here, especially during our, I like to call our Japanese halftime. We'll look at the MLB scores from around North America. So here comes the first offering to Taisi Makihara. It's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. Makihara was 2 for 4 in last night's ball game. He had a couple of singles. He was also caught stealing. As Makihara waiting here on the offering from Imai. Imai checks the runner at second, and he holds set of the belt. He checks the runner again, and now he kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball that misses down. They appeal over to the third base umpire, but they say Makihara didn't go. He evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. I will say this, that I saw earlier tonight, and I didn't bookmark it, but they said that was a tie for the second biggest comeback in history in the playoffs. The biggest one was way back in like the 1920s, but certainly down by 7, 8-1. And then seeing that lead evaporate, major concerns, red flags all over that Blue Jay pitching staff as there's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-2 to Makihara. And certainly after you see Alek Manoah and Kevin Gossman, I mean, Ross Stripling had a great year. I don't know if he has October stuff. Jose Barrios, their other starter, well, they gave him a lot of money, and he stunk it up quite a bit this year. He wasn't even considered to be in the 3 spots to start in the wild card, which was a little bit crazy. Here comes the 1-2 pitch now to Makihara. It's a fastball that misses inside. And that's going to run the count to 2-2. Shudo had himself a very big lead over at second base. It looked like Tomoya Mori was considering taking a shot on him at second base. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Imai gets himself set on the mound after doing a little bit of maintenance. He checks the sign for Mori, and he works set to the belt. He checks the runner over at second, which is Shudo. He checks him again, and now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is popped up into shallow left field. Backing up on it is Genda. Coming in hard on it is the left fielder Kaneko, and Kaneko yields right at the last moment, and Genda is able to haul it in. He's got a big smile on his face, but that sure had Bo Bichette and George Springer written all over it. If you were watching the big league game today, that was a major big-time collision between the Blue Jays shortstop and the center fielder Springer. So 2 away with the runner on second, and that's going to leave it up to the right fielder, Yuki Yanagita. Yanagita is 2 for 3. He had a homer and 3 RBIs in last night's game. Yanagita steps in here. He also drew himself a walk. He scored a couple of runs. As the right-hander Imai delivers, it's a fastball swung on and missed. Count is 0-1. Mick says he thinks they're going to fire a bunch of the staff after that loss. I'm not sure if that's what they're going to do or not. I think that John Schneider, who's the manager there, he's probably going to get an extension. He seems to fit in with what the Jays are wanting. And obviously, after they had let Charlie Montoyo go early in the year, as a breaking ball drops in for a called strike, and the count is now 0-2 to Yanagita. I do think that Schneider's going to be given an opportunity, but that doesn't mean that they won't tweak people on the staff. I know the Detroit Tigers let a couple of personnel go this week, and there's probably a couple more that were reassigned. So they're going to change up the big league staff in Detroit. course, the Kansas City Royals fired their manager, Mike Matheny, so there'll be some changes around at the big league level. So here's the 0-2 pitch to Yanagita. It's a fastball that just misses. I'm not sure where that pitch was. Tomoya Mori held it up there, and Mai wasn't happy. The body language of both the players, they wanted that call big time. Looking at that one there, I have to say that was too close to not be called a strike. So that's what we call home cooking, and the batter Yuki Yanagita getting a hometown call right then and there. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. As the right-hander checks the runner, Shudo at second. Now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses well off the outside corner, and the count's now 2-2. Our friend Mick says about Springer on the ground there after Bo hit him with that elbow. Yeah, that was really unfortunate. And, you can see that sometimes in plays. That was definitely Springer's ball, though. Springer needed to be calling him off. As there was a breaking ball swung on and grounded down the first base line, and the count is now 2-2. But he's got to be hollering and calling because really Bichette was backpedaling on the play. Yeah, that was certainly worse than what it could have been. And it certainly took Springer out of the ballgame, but all I kept thinking about was Tua Tagliafico, I should say, breaking ball swung on it, is grounded softly to second. It is fielded by Tonosaki. He throws to first, and that is going to retire Yanagita for the third out of the inning. Well, the Hawks, they threaten, but they don't score. There was no runs in the inning. They strand the leadoff double to Yukio Shudo at second. As they had 1 hit, there were no errors, and that 1 runner left aboard. We're now through 1 complete. It is the Lions nothing, the Hawks nothing. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back with the call, the top of the second inning, when we return after this. We'll be right back. Appreciate you being with us. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the top of the second inning. It is going to be the heart of the Lions batting order coming to bat. Taka Yamakawa, Brian O'Grady, and Takumi Kuriyama to face the right-hander now Higashiyama, who is going to begin his second inning of work. Struck out 2 of the 3 hitters in the first inning. He was able to retire Hiranuma and Mori on strikes. So he has completed his warm-up tosses, and we're ready to resume the action here in Fukuoka. The game all knotted up at 0s. The only other game going on in the NPB is the game between the Hanshin Tigers and the Yokohama Dana Bay Stars. We'll give you updates on that one as it is available, and we will try to keep you posted on that one for sure, or the outcome of that game for sure. Here comes the first pitch. It is a fastball that just misses outside. Taka Yamakawa for ball 1. The count is 1-0. Yamakawa in last night's ball game was 0 for 2. He did walk twice. One he had to earn, and the other was an intentional walk. Here's the 1-0 pitch. There is a split finger pitch that misses down, and the count is now 2-0. So the game bulletin feed that we usually look at is a little bit behind. There is nothing there at the moment. So hopefully that'll work. It does show that in the top of the second inning that the Tigers and the Bay Stars are locked up at zeros. And here's the pitch. It's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. And the count is 2-1. Yamakawa looked like he wanted to put one on the board with that swing. He almost screwed himself into the ground. So 2 balls and 1 strike for the big, burly, right-handed hitting first baseman. And here comes the offering now from Higashiyama. It's a fastball swung on and fouled straight back. That last pitch was at 90 miles an hour. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And you can tell that Yamakawa really wanted that pitch back. He was disappointed on that one as he had just missed it. So 2 balls and 2 strikes it is to the Lions first baseman, and here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that just misses inside. And the count is now 3-2. Yamakawa, of course, the home run leader in the Pacific League with 41 to his tally. He just fell short, driving in 100 runs. He had 90 on the season. If I'm not mistaken, there was only one player between the 2 leagues, and that was Murakami, who had driven in the 100 runs. And there's a fastball taken for a called third strike. Yamakawa stood there like the house by the side of the road and watched that go by for out number 1 here in the second inning. And that is going to bring up the center fielder, Brian O'Grady. We've got the living room in the house, and we've also got Alexander in here as well. The living room sports says he does not like Rio. Of course that would be the case. Mick says, any old uniforms from the days when we managed? No uniforms. Hats and T-shirts and stuff like that, undergarments. Yep. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and count is 1-0 to O'Grady. I shouldn't actually say that. I've got some other stuff that's we would call our alternate things. I had a couple of alternate jerseys that are floating around. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count's now 1-1 to O'Grady. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Alexander says they got O'Grady in there this time. Game 1 was the warm-up. Now, certainly the cameo appearance. There's a breaking ball swung on, and it's lined foul over past the first base coach's box, and the count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. O'Grady digs himself in. Our friend Officer Stream is in the house. Or Officer Steam, I should say. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. And the count is now 2-2. He says, any videos of your games? It's a good question. I know there used to be a crew that would do the radio and the live stream up in Edmonton. But I don't know if any of those games were actually archived or saved. And here comes the 2-2 pitch. As O'Grady swings, and it is popped up in the infield. It's on the left side. It's playable. The third baseman, Shuto, camping out underneath it. He's going to make the catch. And that is going to retire O'Grady for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to bring up the designated hitter, Takumi Kuriyama. Well, for Kuriyama last night, he was 1 for 4 in the ball game. So 1 for 4 for Kuriyama. Just taking a look here is Kuriyama had that double back in the 5th inning, and he scored the first run of the ball game for the Lions. As he takes that first pitch for ball 1. The count is 1-0. This game's got an eerie start to the ball game as it did last night for the Lions, as the first 5 hitters in the order have been retired. There is a fastball swung on its checked swing foul over on the third base side. The count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Designated hitter Kuriyama tonight, getting his second start on back-to-back nights as a left-handed stick in the order. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lined into the right field corner. If it stays fair, it's going to be trouble. And it is fair. It's down for a base hit. Digging for second is Kuriyama. The throw from Yanagita is just a little bit offline, and Kuriyama is going to get himself a 2-out double here in the second inning. That is going to bring up the right fielder, Ito. Well, Ito last night in the ball game, he was 1 for 2 and an RBI, but the big piece for him last night was the defensive play, as he was able to gun down Kenta Imamiya at the plate, as there was a base hit and that scored a run with the bases loaded, and Imamiya was trying to score from second base. Ito flashed off that strong arm, and they were able to gun down the Fukuoka shortstop who was trying to score from second to end the inning. That would have been last night in about the sixth inning. That was a key point in the ballgame to keep them close. It ended up being a non-factor. And so here comes the offering. It is a fastball that just misses outside, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Ito. Our friend the Officer Steam keeps asking about being a mod. Well, as I mentioned before, we don't have a lot of mods, and we don't just give everybody the moderator wrench. And certainly those who've been in our stream and listened quite regular, maybe don't have one, would probably be offended by somebody who just shows up looking for the mod. As there's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. Mick says, I wonder if you can stream this as a podcast on Spotify and Pandora. It's a good question. I've never actually looked at that. It would be something that would be worth entertaining. I don't really know much about Pandora. Spotify, of course, I can. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And there's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is now 2-1. Yeah, no problem there, Officer Steam. We appreciate you having you in the stream regardless. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Ito. The runner at second is Kuriyama. There is a 2 away here. And the right-hander Higashiyama is ready to deliver the 2-1 pitch. As he kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball swung on. It's grounded over to third. Shudo fields it. He fires over to first. And that is going to do it. It's going to be a ground out 5-3 to end the inning, as Ito is retired. A nice play on the backhand side by Shudo to go almost into foul territory where his momentum took him, and he was able to throw across the diamond to get the out for out number 3. Well, there was no runs in the inning, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left the board. We're now through 1.5. It is the Lions no score, the Hawks no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments. We appreciate you for listening, and we'll answer your questions when we get back in just a few. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters in the batting order coming up for Fukuoka. That means Alfredo Despania, Kira Nakamura, and Kenta Imamiya to come to bat. Our friend Officer Steam says you should be monetized. Well, that's a whole other topic. As we had applied for monetization, and they said, no, you can't have it, because normally in between innings, we would run little infomercials from friends of the channel. That is a no-no on YouTube, and that won't get you monetized. And it's a question that we brought up a little bit. I'm actually going to present it to YouTube when I send information into them. There's a fastball that misses inside to Despania. They won't let you talk about other or promote other people's channels within YouTube, but yet you can promote eBay, your eBay page and your Instagram page right there on YouTube. And there is the breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 1-1. And so my question would be, it's a philosophical question, is don't you want people on your platform? Why would you want to direct them to Instagram or eBay or to Twitch or wherever else? As a breaking ball is swung on and missed, the count is 1-2, because they allow you to link your other social media platforms to your YouTube page. So crazy that works that way, but you can't talk about anybody else's channels on, or at least not talk about them. You can't promote them within your own channel. Anyways, that's the way it goes. So we have some editing to do, and we'll get that back on track. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded softly to short, picked up by Suzuki Genda. He throws to first, and Alfredo Despania is retired for the first out of the inning, and that will bring up the first baseman, Akira Nakamura. Well, we didn't give you the Hawks defensively, as we did give you the Alliance defensively. So we'll go through the Seibu Lions. Well, we've already given you the Lions. We'll give you the Hawks when they come up on defense in the next half inning. Akira Nakamura steps to the plate. He's 0 for 4 tonight. Got to get ourselves a little bit organized here. Make sure we're following our script to the T. And here's the first pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on and missed. The count is 0-1 to Nakamura. Nakamura did not get a hit in last night's ball game. He grounded out, and he popped out a couple of times and flew out once. And on top of that, he also had a throwing area where he deposited a ball into left center field. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball that just misses outside, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Nakamura. Friend Mick says, check out Amuse. I've released some music under them. Here comes the pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on and grounded foul on the first base side. The count remains at 1-2 to Nakamura. I'd be kind of curious, as we mentioned before, about Spotify or certainly the podcasts or those type of things where people can come in and to listen to the commentary. Of course, that would be intriguing to be able to potentially do. There's a fastball swung on. It is grounded to the right side of the infield. It is fielded by Shuta Tonosaki. He throws on the run, and it is a beautiful play by the first baseman, Yamakawa, to pick it all the way around. A nice job, and that's going to get Nakamura by a half a step. Goes down as a ground out 4-3 for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away here in the second, and that's going to leave it all up to the shortstop, Kenta Imamiya. Really good play there by the first baseman, Yamakawa, to stretch and to get into his legs to be able to stay low, to be able to pick that one out. So 2 gone, and Imamiya to the plate. Imamiya last night was 1 for 4. As we mentioned, he got gunned down at the plate. He also reached on an error. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It's grounded softly to short. Genda fields it. He throws to first, and that is going to do it. The Hawks go quietly here in their half of the inning. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 2 complete in Fukuoka. It's the Hawks, no score. The Lions, no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the top of the third inning in just a couple of moments. Appreciate you guys for being here. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the top of the third inning. As this game's skipping along quickly, it is going to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters in the batting order. It means Suzuki Genda, Yuji Kaneko, and the top of the order is Shuta Tonosaki are coming to bat here for the Lions. We didn't give you the defense for the Hawks early in the ball game, so we'll give that to you now. The outfield from left to right as it goes across your YouTube channel screen is going to be Tetsuro Yanagamachi is in left. The center fielder is Taisi Makihara. Yuki Yanagita is in right field. From first to third, defensively, it's Akira Nakamura holding down the one bag. At second base, it's Masaki Momori. The shortstop is Kenta Imamiya. And at third base, it's Yukio Shudo with the battery of Nao Higashiyama and the catcher Takuya Kai. Our friend Mick says we got to do a Last Raps National Tour. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that one, but our friend Officer Steam says you should make it your own app and website. We got our own website. We just don't have an app and don't see that as anything in the future. There's a breaking ball that swung on and missed. The count is 0-1 to Suzuki Genda. Genda last night in the ball game was 0 for 4. He was hitting in the two spot. He struck out 3 times and grounded back to the pitcher in his other at bat. As here comes the 1-0 offering. It's a fastball that just misses outside, and the count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Genda. Friend Officer Steam says he's got to go. Well, we appreciate you stopping in tonight and listening to some of the stream. We might be back on tomorrow night, depending on the outcome of this game. If the Lions end up winning, we will be back in the saddle tomorrow, same time and same place. So maybe you can pop back in and join us again. And if not, if the Hawks end up winning, then we'll have to wait and see what we're going to be doing in the future, because there is going to be some more playoff games in the midweek. And also, too, if the other game that's going on tonight between the Tigers and the Bay Stars end up going a third game, then maybe we'll call that one in the event this game isn't played. So there is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-2 now to Genda. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. And here comes the offering. It is a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. The count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes to Genda. Our friend Alexander says he has a feeling Lions will have a chance here, which means the Hawks will win 0-5. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's a split finger pitch swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 1-2. The problem that I think with the Lions is just their lack of depth in the hitting department. The pitching really last night was a little bit, Takahashi was not on the par of Kodai Senga. But tonight, I could see both of these pitchers being a toss-up between Imai and Higashiyama. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded softly to second. It is fielded by the second baseman, Momori. He underhands it to the first baseman. Underhands it to the first baseman, Nakamura, and that's going to retire Genda on a ground out 4-3 for out number 1, and that'll bring up the left fielder, Yuji Kaneko. As our friend Alexander says, he has the feeling that they got the chance to win. But as I said, it's one of those ones where I take a look at it, be kind of curious to see how that is going to work out. Mick says he made one through them for his music. Would that be one of your apps there, Mick? I'm not sure. There's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded up the middle, and it's through the legs of the pitcher, Higashiyama. It's into center field, and Yuji Kaneko is going to be aboard with a base hit. It's his second hit of the series. He was 1 for 4 last night. And he is now aboard, and that will bring up Shuta Tonosaki, the top of the order, with a runner at first and 1 gone here in the third inning. Certainly the app is worth kicking around. We did some investigation a couple of years ago on the app, and I had one of the fellows who worked out for me and had him go out and do some research and some of the pricing for people to do apps all over the place. We just weren't really willing to spend the money to do that, because I looked at it and I said, what are you getting? But it's creating the app is one thing, but the maintenance of the app is the other issue, is how is the app going to be maintained? And it's not going to be a static app. It's going to be something that you're going to have to create and then be able to do your uploads. There's a breaking ball swung on. It's popped up into shallow center field. Moving in on it is the center fielder, Makihara. He's going to make the catch. And that is going to retire Tonosaki on one pitch. And that is going to leave it all up to the third baseman, Shuda near Hiranuma. Well, for Hiranuma, he is 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out looking his first time up. As we said, he got the start tonight in replacement of Ninting Wu. Wu last night got the nod. Hiranuma on the season hit .260, but he only had a homer and 3 RBIs. He was called out on strikes back in the first inning. So here comes the first offering from the right-hander, Yashiyama. That's a breaking ball that misses outside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Hiranuma. Right-hander leans in. He gets the sign from his catcher, Takuya Kai. He checks the runner at first. Now he comes to the set position. As he holds and delivers, there's a breaking ball that misses down and in, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Both of these teams, and you think about the playoffs, even in Major League Baseball, get the opportunity to line up your pitching and get your pitching all sorted out for the start of the playoffs. Of course, last night, the aces of both of these clubs, Kodai Senga and, of course, Kona Takahashi went at it. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. And the count now goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. Our friend Mick says Wix app, and a Wix app that you can make your website with. Yeah, our website is pretty much static for the most part. We have that and get a registration system and everything that goes up through there. And there's a breaking ball swung on it. It's grounded over to short. And Mamiya fields it. He throws to first, and that is going to retire Hiranuma on a ground out 6-3 for the third out of the inning. We'll come back, and on the in-between of the ball game, we'll talk apps and other stuff. We'll be back here in just a few minutes. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard here in the top of the third inning. It is the Lions no score, the Hawks no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the bottom of the third inning in just a couple of moments. We appreciate you guys for being here with us. Here is the other cheerleaders. Welcome back, everybody. We are getting the 8, 9, and 1 hitters to come to bat here for Fukuoka in their half of the third inning. It's going to be Tetsuro Yanagabachi, Takuya Kai, and Masaki Momori to get things going. Yanagabachi last night was 2 for 3, and he had an RBI. He also was drilled by the pitcher last night. And I got a good chuckle out of the drilling in particular. I'll tell you why in just a moment. Actually, sorry, he was 0 for 1 last night. Wrong guy on Yanagamachi. 0 for 1, and he had a walk and a hit by pitch. So I was slightly off on my stats there. But with Yanagamachi, the interesting part about that is he kept calling time. And as he kept calling time, it really started to get the starter upset last night. There was a first 2 pitches to Yanagamachi are balls. As it's 2 balls and no strikes, and then all of a sudden he just whacked them. There's a fastball that just misses upstairs. The count is now 3-0. So 3 balls and no strikes. Our friend Mick says the Wix version will allow you to add your YouTube channel, eBay page, etc. Plus you can upload and manage through the Wix app or through the mobile version. You take a look at that. There's the fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 3-1. Always interested in different items and different things to look at. So 3 balls and 1 strike as the right-hander Imai delivers a breaking ball that misses outside. It's going to be ball 4, and that's going to be a leadoff walk here for Yanagamachi to start the second inning. It's going to bring up the catcher Takuya Kai, and you can pretty much be guaranteed that Takuya Kai is going to be in a bunt situation here. I got to think that going to try to play for a run or play for a couple of runs in this game, and Kai is the guy to try to get the job done, as he is not a big hitter. 180 batting average on the season, although Kai in last night's ball game did have himself a base hit. He was 1 for 3, and he scored a run. It was the second run of the ball game, as he was brought around by the 3-run shot off the bat of Yuki Yanagita. So Kai has already started to square to bunt. The pitch is delivered, and it's down. It's a good one. And my fields it. He's got only 1 play, and the play is to first base. It's going to go down as a sacrifice, 1-4. For the first out of the inning, Yanagamachi advances to second. That is going to bring the top of the order up in Masaki Momori. So Momori steps to the plate. He's 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out his first time up. He is 1 for 5 on the series with the RBI. So Momori stepping to the plate here with the runner at second and 1 gone. We've had some pretty good nights. I'm calling the Japanese games this year, and we are going to try to look to see how many other things there are there. Mick asked the question, says, how many things do you stream on? We just stream on YouTube and on Twitch. There are other options. You can do it on Facebook. You can do it on other ones. Because we use StreamYards, that allows us to be able to run through that. As there's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-0. You can also stream on LinkedIn. I took a look at the possibility of Twitter. I don't really know on some of the other places of what you can do, but thus streaming here on YouTube, as there's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. The count goes to 1-1 on Momori. I really don't know what else or what advantages on certain other platforms there may come in. Certainly Instagram is another one that people do stream on, and other pieces as well, but we don't always do that sort of stuff. We do other things on some of the other platforms, but certainly the main focus has been on YouTube. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. It's a fastball that just misses outside to Momori, and the count now goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. So YouTube has been the number 1 platform, and then of course, looking at Twitch as well, as we were able to not put any effort into it, but we are at least streaming on it. So here comes the 2-1 pitch to Momori as he waits here on the offering from the right-hander Imai. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses inside. The count now goes to 3-1 on Masaki Momori. So we got to figure out, we got to get our piece figured out with regards to the monetization on YouTube. And then once we can get that sorted out, we'll start focusing on Twitch and some of the other ones as well. So here comes the 3-1 pitch. It's a split finger pitch and misses down. It's going to be ball 4, and Momori's going to be aboard with a walk. I'm just going to bring up the third baseman, Yukio Shudo. Well, if you point to a thorn in the side of the Lions, it's going to be Yukio Shudo, or you'd have to think it would be. Shudo has been pretty decent defensively. And of course, in last night's game, he had a double and scored a run. He had a single and an RBI. He was 2 for 3. They move him up into the 2 spot today, and he's already got himself a double. So he is 3 for 4 on the series. Shudo is going to shoot somebody in the Seibu Seibu Lions. My friend Mick says there's a way to stream on all social media platforms. Yeah, we've got, as I said, we're doing it off a StreamYard, but they don't offer Instagram and some of the other platforms to stream through, where we could do it all in one full stop shop. There's a fastball taken for a called strike on the inside corner to count 0-1. And interesting about that, if we could do it on Instagram, which is a Facebook company, Facebook obviously you can stream it through Facebook. I really don't know why StreamYards hasn't been able to figure out Instagram. They're the same company. Mick says, put you on live QQ as well. Yeah, maybe. I have to work on my Mandarin for that one. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted down the left field line. If it stays fair, it's going to be trouble, but it's just going to float into this temporary seating down the left field line. It's going to be a foul ball for Shudo. It's going to run the count to 0-2. The left fielder, Kaneko, had to come a long way for that one, and it was about, as we said about that temporary seating, it's probably about 2 or 3 feet between that temporary seating wall and the main wall, just as it narrows off into that corner. And the ball had hit that main wall and ended up bouncing back, but no play there for Kaneko. So no balls and 2 strikes to Shudo. He's in the hole here as Imai holds at the belt. He checks the runner at second base, and now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 0-2. I have to say, I really do like Yukio Shudo. I like the way that he plays the game. He's versatile. He's gotten this start again at third base tonight. They've also had him in the outfield. He had 22 stolen bases on the year, did the young third baseman for the Hawks. He also shows a bit of power. He had 5 homers to go with 15 runs batted in. I'd like to see what he can do over a full campaign for the Fukuoka Ball Club. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. As the right-hander Imai works from the belt and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to second. They flip it over to second for one. Back to first, and it's not in time. I have a feeling they may want to take a look at this one. We're going to have to see some of this here. We're going to go and look at our replays, but it's a 4-6 fielder's choice for now, but it may be a double play. Shudo does get down the line, and you got to tip your hat to him. And it was a nice play as Tonosaki flipped it with his glove hand to second. As they brought it back to first, maybe it is not going to be in time. We're going to go look at that replay from a different angle. It doesn't look like the Lions are going to challenge. So a fielder's choice for Shudo. He is at first. It advances Yanagamachi over to third. It erases Mamori on the fielder's choice at second, 4-6 for the second out of the inning. That's going to bring up the center fielder, Taisi Makihara. Well, Makihara, 0 for 1 tonight. He popped to the shortstop his first time up. Makihara in last night's ball game singled a couple of times in 4 trips to the plate. So he is 2 for 5 now on the series. Our friend Mick says he needs the living room speaking Mandarin in the background. That would be interesting. Our friend Steve Rademacher cheering for the Lions. You should cheer for the Lions on Sunday, Steve. There's a breaking ball that comes inside, and he's hit Makihara in the foot. And Makihara does this prance all the way down to first base with bat in hand. So Amaya's loaded the bases with the hit batter there. That's going to bring up the right fielder, Yuki Yanagita. Well, for Yanagita, he was third in home runs in the Pacific League. He only trailed Hideo Asamura of the Eagles and, of course, Takayama Kawa of the Lions. And he opened up the account last night by hitting a 3-run homer for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks in the 3rd inning. And what do you know? Here we are in the 3rd inning again, and the bases are juiced. And Yanagita is stepping to the plate. So bases are full of Hawks. Yanagita steps in, waiting on the first offering from Imai. This is the first sign of danger that the Lions have seen themselves in. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is belted to deep right field. If it stays fair, it's going to be trouble, but this ball is going to be hooked foul well into the seats. Boy, oh boy, did Yuki Yanagita really turn on that one. But he just got a little bit out in front and hooked that one foul. Oh boy, that almost cleared the bases of Hawks with one swing of the bat. So no balls and one strike to Yanagita. So here we go again. Namai ready to go back at it. He gets the sign from his catcher, Mori. I would have to think that would probably be the only pitch he's going to come inside with. Everything needs to go away to the veteran left-handed batter. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is golfed into right field, and this ball is deep, and this ball is gone. It's into the seats, just over the right field fence, into that temporary seating, and Yuki Yanagita has cleared the bases with a grand slam here in the third inning. And the Hawks are now up 4-0 over the Saitama Seibu Lions, just like that on one swing of the bat. The crowd is on their feet in Fukuoka. A 4-0 lead. The same inning as last night when Yanagita took Takahashi yard for a 3-run shot. Tonight he does it for a grand slam. A 4-0 lead for Fukuoka here in the third inning. Well, unless the Hawks do their best Toronto Blue Jay impersonation, one would have to think that this game is going to be in cruise control from here to the end, especially with a strong performance by their starter last night. And the first pitch delivered to Alfredo Despaigne, and it's a breaking ball that misses for ball one, and the count is 1-0. Steve Rademacher says these Lions suck also. Remember, tomorrow the Lions are scheduled to lose to the Patriots at 10 o'clock Pacific or 1 p.m. Eastern. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 2-0. 2 balls and no strikes. I haven't really looked at any updates from around the Pacific League, from around the NPB. It does look like it's in the top of the fourth inning in Yokohama. That game is all locked up at zeros. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is now at 2-1 to Alfredo Despaigne. Well, they're going to have no choice. They're going to have to empty the tank here in this one. I'm kind of curious. We're one of the websites that we use for the updated English box scores. Well, it looks like they're on a holiday tonight. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. The count goes to 2-2 on Despaigne. A little bit disappointing because it is one of the sites that we do go to regularly, that we use as that as well. But the NPB site does work well. Just have to make sure we got the translate working there. There's a fastball that just misses outside, and the count is now 2-1. Check that. The count is now 3-2 to Despaigne. 3 balls and 2 strikes. As we said, we will look at that out-of-town MLB scoreboard after the 5th inning. Break down what happened on a wacky wild card Saturday. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed. Despaigne is down on strikes for the 3rd out of the inning, but not before there was damage done, and lots of it here in the 3rd inning. There was 4 runs in the inning for the Hawks on the benefit of only 1 hit. And that was the grand slam by Yuki Yanagita. There were no errors and nobody left the board. We are now through 3 complete. It is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 4 and the Saitama Seibu Lions no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments after this. We appreciate you guys for being here. Welcome back, everybody. We are going to be back in 30 seconds with the call just after this. 4-0 for the Hawks. Hang tight. Would you like to support Last Drafts Baseball? We would appreciate it if you did. Be sure to check out our eBay page where we have baseball merchandise. We also have stuff from the Japanese League for those who listen from Japan. But we also do other sports like football and basketball as well. Don't forget, visit Last Drafts Baseball's eBay store to help support the channel. We'll be glad you did. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving now to the top of the fourth inning. And the Seibu Lions are staring down the barrel of a gun right now, 4-0, as Fukuoka has jumped out to a lead. 7 RBIs in the series in not even two full games for Yuki Yanagita. How about that for a start to the playoffs for him? And here comes the first pitch. It's a fastball swung on to Tomoya Mori. It is grounded over to short. Imamiya fields it. He throws to first. And with one pitch, we've got one away here in the fourth inning. That's going to bring up the first baseman, Hataka Yamakawa. Well, for Yamakawa tonight, he is 0 for 1. He struck out looking his first time up. Our friend Mick says, who you got tomorrow, Steve? Well, if you get a chance to go over to Steve's website, he always does a Wager Wednesday, and he gives you all his NFL picks. And what's also interesting, he does his hot sauce pick of the week, and if he gets it wrong, he's got to do a shot of hot sauce. And so far, Steve has had one too many shots of the hot sauce in the first few weeks. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Yamakawa. Yamakawa struck out looking his first time up. He's 0 for 3 in the series. He's had a couple of walks at last night's ball game. One was intentional and one was just straight up. There's a breaking ball swung on at his tap foul over on the third base side. And the count is now 0-2 to Yamakawa. Yamakawa will be followed by Brian O'Grady here in the fourth inning, as we are in the 3, 4, and 5 spots to start the inning here for the Lions, as the right-hander rocks into the delivery, and he kicks and he fires. It's a fastball that just misses off the outside corner, and the count is 1-2 to Yamakawa. I was thinking about the Tampa Bay Rays and their woes against the Cleveland Guardians, only scoring 1 run in 24 innings. In that series. Yesterday, it was the top 3 hitters in the order were 0 for 12. I didn't get a chance to look at the tragic numbers today, but I would assume it was that and more. There was a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Hataka Yamakawa. One of the things that also I take a look at is that we were looking at the number of followers that you could get on some of the other platforms. As there's a breaking ball that misses down and away. The count goes to 2-2 on Yamakawa. We really don't put any effort into Twitch at all. And I think I'm at 27 followers on that platform. And so when people come in, if they're listening and they give us a follow, we appreciate that. We're glad to have them listening in. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as the right-hander kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down, and the count now goes to full on Yamakawa. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. I think if I'm the right-hander Higashiyama here, this is a at-bat where I'm going to let Yamakawa swing away. I mean, you're up by 4. A solo shot is not going to do harm to you. There's a breaking ball swung at and fouled away. Count remains at 3-2. I certainly don't want to walk him to put him on a base here for Brian O'Grady. O'Grady does have some juice in the stick, as he can turn on fastballs and dry balls for sure. We'll try to keep you updated, as we said, on the out-of-town scoreboard as it comes available. But right now, when we take a peek in there in Yokohama, it's in the bottom of the fourth inning. All locked up at zeros. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. There's a Fastball swung on. This ball is golfed into deep right field. Moving over underneath it is Yanagita. It's just not deep enough, and that is going to retire Yamakawa. A fly ball to right field for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Brian O'Grady. Well, for O'Grady tonight, he is 0 for 1. He popped to the third baseman his first time up. He came on as a pinch hitter in last night's ball game. He was 0 for 1 in that one. He had come in for Yuji Kaneko and had struck out in the 9th inning. And that was actually to end the ball game. So 0 for 2 on the series for O'Grady as he waits on the offering here from the Arati Higashiyama. The first pitch is a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1 to O'Grady. As we mentioned before, should the game in that other series be extended tomorrow night, we'll try to call the Tigers and the Bay Stars for you. We'll be looking into that one to try to get that action for everybody here. It'll be a little bit different vibe for us. There's a split finger pitch that misses down, and the count is 1-1. We'll see if we can do some of that stuff. Our friend Alexander Leggett's got the pom-poms out right now tonight for Brian O'Grady. So yeah, I would be curious to see if we can make something work on that. In terms of tomorrow night's stream, if we can get that done, it would be a lot of fun. There is a breaking ball swung on and missed, and the count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. The right-hander nods in agreement with his catcher as he rocks into the motion. And now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Just not sure what kind of stream we're going to be able to pick up on that game for tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be able to grab something. And here comes the 2-2 pitch. It's a split figure pitch down in the dirt. The count is now 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. I'm getting a live look in on the Bay Stars and the Tigers. That game is going on in Yokohama. Beautiful day for baseball. A little bit on the cool side as the umpires out there have their jackets on. So here comes the 3-2 pitch as the right-hander delivers. It's a breaking ball. This is down, and O'Grady is aboard with a 2-out walk. That is going to bring up the designated hitter, Takumi Kuriyama. One thing I will say is that I do enjoy about the Japanese baseball is you get some different camera angles. You get the traditional one from center field behind the pitcher to the catcher, but when the ball is put in play, it is often over on the first base side. You get an angled view that shows you where the ball is going to be played from and where it's at. And then, of course, you get some other ones like down the left field line, back to home plate view. Kind of some different looks. So Tona Kuriyama gets himself dug in. He's 1 for 1 tonight. He had a double his first time up. He is 2 for 5 in the series. A left-handed hitting designated hitter waiting on the offering here from Higashiyama. Here comes Sen at the belt. Now he kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. The count is quickly 0-1 to Kuriyama. So it'll be a lot of fun to be able to do something like that. Friend Mick says that we've inspired him. He's going to start doing something like that, like this next year. I'm not sure what you're going to do there, Mick. But is it the hot sauce? There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. That's kind of funny, actually. Steve Rademacher and his hot sauce. And each week, it's just going to continue to get hotter and hotter. So you make sure you check him out each week. He always gets a little one, it starts a little bit less, and then it just continues to increase There's a fastball that misses outside. They appeal to the third base umpire, but they say Kuriyama didn't go. The count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Kuriyama. As I said, I took a peek in to see what was happening in that Tigers Baystar game, but I don't want to lose my concentration on this one, so I flicked it out. As we said, it's a beautiful day for baseball in Yokohama. So 2 balls and 1 strike. As the right-hander Higashiyama gets his sign from Kai. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on and fouled away. Count is now 2-2. Mick says, live commentary, all sports. College football, NPB, MLB, NFL, KBO. Yeah, there you go. I've seen a number of different people around and about who do the live streams and stuff. There are some talented people out in the YouTube spectrum. Then there's some other people, I can't believe that they get the amount of people watching them, and they're not very good at all. But I don't want to mention those people. Unfortunately, you can do whatever you want. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the beauty of it is that you've got a marketplace where it attracts a lot of different people who will want to come and listen. What makes it exciting? What makes it interesting? Certainly this year here, when we've been calling games, we don't have a ton of people in. We've had more than we did last year, and I would expect next year when we continue to do stuff, we'll get more again and just make it a little bigger. But how big do we want to get? Well, it'd be great if we had 10,000 people listening to us, sort of. But then we can't really interact with our audience and be able to cultivate some of that stuff. So I've always said about 20 to 30 people in the chat is always pretty good. There's a fastball swung on, is grounded over to Imamiya at short. He throws to first, and Kuriyama is going to be retired for the third out of the inning. It's going to go down as a ground out 6-3 for out number 3, and that is going to do it here in the 4th inning. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, but there was a runner left aboard. We're now through 3.5. It is the Seibu Seibu Lions trailing the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 4-0. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call of the bottom of the 4th inning when we return. 4-0 for the Hawks. Be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the bottom half of the 4th inning. It is a 4-0 lead for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, as it is going to be Akira Nakamura, Kenta Imamiya, and Tatsuro Yanagamachi to come to the plate. Our friend Alexander Leggett says, I like our cozy little izakaya. Yeah, if you have about 50 people in the stream listening, but you've got maybe only 20 participating in the chat, it keeps it pretty good. I remember last year when we were doing opening day and about 60 people in the chat, and it was just going crazy. Couldn't even keep up. So the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses outside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0 to Akira Nakamura. So if you can keep it where it's just like that, you got enough people that come and listen and enjoy the ball game. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. It makes it a lot easier to manage. On the flip side of the coin, getting 40, 50 people in to listen is a great thing. I'm sure we'll continue to grow like that and be able to capture more people listening on the YouTube streams. And hopefully people will come, they'll go, they'll bounce in when they can, and it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun next year to be able to call some games in Japan. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It is grounded to the right side through the 4-hole into right field. And Nakamura is going to get himself a leadoff single here in the 4th inning. It's going to bring up the shortstop, Kenta Imamiya. Friend Mick says you might have some more colorful commentary. We try to keep this one G-rated there, Mick. You never know when we got some young kids listening in, so got to make sure we leave a decent impression. I try to leave the R-rated stuff for the field. But our colorful commentary there, certainly, I'm sure there'd be a lot of things thrown around today if you were doing the Blue Jay game, if you were a Blue Jay color commentator. Oh, boy. So here comes Kenta Imamiya to the plate. And he is waiting here on the first offering from Imai, who kicks and delivers. It is a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. I think in 2021, this would have been a bunt situation for Imamiya. But he had such a good season with the bat. The Fukuoka shortstop, I'm sure they're considering him, just letting him swing away. The right-handed hitting Imamiya waiting on the offering here from Imai, who kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Kenta Imamiya. Imamiya did ground to short his first time up. It was pretty much a straightforward out. If he does it again, it'll be a double play, most likely this time. As they are waiting here on the 1-1 offering. And now Imai throws over to first base, and diving back in time is Nakamura, the base runner. So Nakamura, the runner at first, 1 ball and 1 strike to Imamiya. The right-hander holds at the belt. He checks the runner, and now he delivers. It is a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. The count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. I was pretty pleased last night with our turnout in our audience and had a decent crowd. That was the one thing, is when you go away in the middle of the season, it really throws your rhythm off. To make it back east, hadn't been back east in quite a bit of time, almost 3 years. And sometimes you have to pick up and you just have to make the decision to go, and go we did. So here's the pitch. It is a fastball that misses way outside, and the count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Kenta Imamiya. The crowd is in a festive spirit in Fukuoka. That's one thing that I was thinking about going to the Major League games. I know that in Seattle and in Detroit, I saw games this year, there's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. And Imamiya is retired on strikes. He's gone for out number 1, and that is going to bring up the left fielder, Tatsuro Yanagamachi. They've gone to a credit card only situation. Well, when you have the vendors that are walking around selling the beer, the peanuts, the hot dogs, a lot of people were expressing that they really don't feel comfortable in passing their credit card down the aisle to somebody to have to tap for them so that they can pay for their hot dog or their beer. And I have to agree with them. I don't know if I necessarily like that. I know Alexander Leggett is a Washington National fan, unfortunately for him. They've had a tough year this year. They have got a World Series ring under their belt over the last few years. But in saying that, I've also talked to some people who've been to other stadiums, and it's not necessarily always the case. I know in Pittsburgh, they still take cash. I've talked to a couple of customers, but I don't know what other venues are taking cash and which ones are taking just credit card only. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded softly over to second. On the move is Nakamura, as it was a hit and run. Yanagamachi is going to ground out 4-3. Advancing to second is Nakamura as they stay onto the double play. That's going to retire Yanagamachi for the second out of the inning. It's going to leave it all up to the catcher, Takuya Kai. Our friend Alexander says, don't remind him about the World Series championship a few years ago. And he says they got mobile kiosks are pretty much mandatory, very frustrating for the casual fan. Yeah, they have these mobile kiosks where what you can do is you can go and put your money in, and they give you like a temporary Visa credit card or a sort of a Visa credit type card. And then you can use the Visa credit card to tap in and tap out to get your food. It's an utterly complete pain in the backside. So here's the first pitch from Imai. It's a fastball that misses down and away. The count is 1 no strikes to Takuya Kai. Our friend Mick says it's that easy to scan and make a copy of somebody's card. Yeah, I sure would not want to feel very comfortable passing it down the aisle through about the hands of about 8 to 10 people. There's a fastball ticket for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. Mick says fraud is so bad in California, he had to get his EBT waived to use out there before he went. Yeah, that's a problem. I know when I was going to get money at the money machine in Japan a few years ago, the best place to get it from was, of all places, at the 7-Eleven. Best rates. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is sliced into right field. It's down for a base hit. Ito has come up throwing. The throw to the plate is not in time. They've got Takuya Kai hung up between first and second. They've got him in the rundown. Suzuki Genda throws to, it's a terrible execution of the rundown, but they finally are able to apply the tag. But it's a base hit, a single, and an RBI for Kai. He drives in Nakamura from second base for the 5th run of the ball game. And that is going to erase Kai on a whole host of plays. It's going to go down as a 9-2 to 6 to 3 to 6 put out. You can mark that in your scorebook if you're keeping score at home. And that is going to do it here for the Hawks in their half of the 4th inning. 1 run in the inning on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 4 complete innings. It is the Hawks 5 and the Lions no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments. We appreciate you guys being here. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the top of the 5th inning, and it'll be the bottom third of the batting order. Ito, Genda, and Kaneko coming to bat. Interesting that Mick brings that up about who hasn't washed their hands. That's very true sometimes. You sit back and you say, why am I getting my hot dog passed down here by it's going to touch about 8 different hands by the time I get it? But I don't get it. I don't want to get it. Our friend Alexander says you basically waste the whole inning or 2 just getting your food at the Nats game. I prefer the walking vendors at this point. And then paying $15 for a beer and $13 for a dog should get me the same convenience along with it. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. The other thing is, too, is that in the major league ballparks, so I went to the game earlier in August, and I took my I took my iPad with me to the Mariners game. No issue, no complaints. I got in, everything else. I went to the Tigers game in Detroit, and they weren't going to let me take my iPad in. And so what I did is I complained a little bit, and I said to the guys at the desk, I said, listen to the commercial you guys are running. You're telling everybody that you're giving them free Wi-Fi, and then you won't let me take my mobile device in. What are you guys, crazy? There's a breaking ball delivered to Ito. The first pitch of the 5th inning, it's taken for a ball and down and away, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Ito. Ito on the series is 1 for 3. He's got himself an RBI. And here's the pitch from Higashiyama. It's a breaking ball that also that catches the outside corner. The count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Got to say, the home plate umpire for this game today is a lot like the Cleveland Guardian Tampa Bay Ray umpire, as there's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 1-2 to Ido. Adam Hamari did the game in Cleveland today, and boy, oh boy, he looked like he was struggling back behind the plate. As there is a split finger pitch that misses down and away, and the count is now 2-2 to Ido. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Friend Alex says, I don't know who put that policy in place, but they need to be canned. I said, so what's the difference between an iPhone and an iPad? And there's a split finger pitch that misses down, and the count is now 3-2. I said, that's absolutely crazy. And same thing, Mick says, when he hadn't been to a game in a few years, went to a game at Coors Field, and there was no cash. And that cash does it just, I shake my head. As there's a split finger pitch swung on, it's popped up over to the left side of the infield. Mia underneath it, and he makes the grab. And Ido is retired for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away. It's going to leave it up to bring up the shortstop, Suzuki Genda. Well, for Genda tonight, he is 0 for 1. He grounded to second his first time up. He is 0 for 5 on the series. Our friend Alex says a lot of places are going cashless. And here comes the pitch. It's a fastball delivered for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Well, one of the things that there will be a move to go cashless, or at least in some regards. There's a split finger pitch swung on, its tap foul over on the first base side. And Higashiyama is way up on Genda. It is now no balls and 2 strikes. A lot of places here we're going cashless. I've always said cash is king. I mean, we can talk about reasons why cash is good. And of course, other reasons why it's maybe not good for the government. It's hard to follow some of those transactions. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. They appeal over to the third base umpire, but they say Genda held off, and the count is 1-2. When I was talking to my neighbor a few years ago, I have a neighbor who is from Peru. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It is a split finger pitch swung on. This ball is belted into deep right center field. Racing back on it is Yanagita, but he's going to watch it go off the wall. It's picked up by the center fielder Makihara, digging for second and rounding second and heading into third with a 1-out triple is going to be Genda. He sent that ball for a ride into the pull gap. And he has now got himself a 1-out triple. That's going to bring up the left fielder, Yuji Kaneko. Our friend Alexander Leggett says that he figures that Higashiyama can still screw this one up. Well, definitely that pull gap shot there by Genda. Genda not necessarily known for his power. Only had 2 home runs on the season. And his wheels are not quite the same as they used to be, but he was able to leg that one out for a triple, and that brings up Kaneko to the plate. Kaneko in this series is 2 for 5. He has a single tonight. His only trip to the plate. Alexander says he can't predict the game to save his life, but can predict the moment that a pitcher can start to screw it up. This is going to be the 75th pitch of the ball game from the right-hander Higashiyama. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is 0-1 to Kaneko. One would have to think that he's got at least one more inning left in him. I would think he will sniff the 6th. I don't know if he sees the 7th or not. But that bullpen that the Fukuoka Ball Club sports, I have a feeling that manager Fujimoto is not really concerned about that. The Hawks have got themselves in a good place. They only had to use the left-hander Moinello in a closing role last night. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is 1-1 to Kaneko. So 1 ball and 1 strike. from an accounting perspective, it's a lot easier to be able to manage the in and outflow of money when you have the credit cards. But on the flip side of the coin, it's also a bit of a pain when you have the other stuff. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kaneko. Certainly, as we said, the cash is king theory takes place. And one would have to think that if you're taking cash at the parking lot of a big league game or cash at the concessions, a lot of that stuff can get buried in different ways. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. That is the fastball swung on. It is not foul. It's going to reach the seats behind the third base side of home plate, and it keeps the count at 1-2 to Kaneko. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. 5-0 here in the top of the 5th inning, as the Hawks have themselves a healthy lead over the Seibu Lions. We've been keeping our eye on the out-of-town scoreboard. In the bottom of the 5th inning, Yokohama has broken the ice. They have a 1-0 lead over the Hanshin Tigers. So here comes the 1-2 pitch as the right-hander kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It is grounded down the right field line into the corner. It's going to be a base hit. That's going to get 1 run in. Kaneko digging for second, and the throw comes in. He's got himself a stand-up double and an RBI. That's the second hit of the ball game for Kaneko. So he gets himself an RBI. Suzuki Genda comes home to score the first run of the line for the Lions tonight. It is now a 5-1 ball game. That's going to turn it over to the top of the order in Shuta Tonosaki. So the captain, Genda, gets things going here with 1 out. And if anybody was, I wonder what the over-under through the first 5 was in this one. Last night, I think the over-under in the game total was 5.5. And, of course, that was blown up pretty quickly. This game here, if the scoring is 5.5 or 6.5, well, they're already knocking on the door here through the first 4+ innings. So the runner at second is Kaneko, and the Tonosaki is now the hitter. He's 1 for 6 in the series, 0 for 2 tonight. As Higgy Hashiyama looks at the sign from his catcher, Kai. And here comes the first offering to Tonosaki. It's a fastball that just misses down for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. I have to say, we get the replays of some of the pitches, and boy, that pitch looked pretty good there. Yeah, Mick brings up a valid point about kids having to carry cards. They can't just take cash from their parents to go to the games. That's very much true, too. How do you feel about giving your kid a credit card or a preloaded card to use? There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 1-1 to Tonosaki. I never really gave 2 thoughts about it, but you're absolutely right. When I was in Japan, there's 2 types of cards that people will use. So when you get off of the plane at Narita or at Haneda, a lot of people will either get a Passmo card, and there's another card. I can't remember which one the other one was off the top of my head. But you get those, and those are preloaded cards. So you take your cash, you preload them, and you can use it for the transit system. You can use it for the concessions. You could use it at 7-Elevens. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count is now 2-1. Tonosaki. So that is the way that they kind of function over there. So you go into the transit system and you tap in, and you go out and you tap out, and it takes a predetermined amount off your card, depending on how far you travel. There's a breaking ball that's down. They appeal over to the first base umpire, but they say Tonosaki didn't go. It's now 3-1. Higgy Hashiyama really starting to struggle here in the 5th inning. Would have to think that he puts another runner aboard here, 1 swing of the bat, and you've got a whole brand new ball game on your hand. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Tonosaki. Right-handed hitting second baseman waiting here on the offering from Higashiyama, who checks the sign from his catcher and he works set at the belt. Now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into deep center field. Moving back underneath it is Omori. He makes the catch, tagging at second and heading to third. And reaching safely will be Kaneko. It's going to be a fly ball to center field for the second out of the inning. And that is going to leave it all up to Shota Hiranuma. Comes to the plate. Looks like there is going to be some action in the Fukuoka bullpens. As we take a look, just got it off the end of the bat, did Tonosaki. As he had a fly ball there to center field. Nice play by the center fielder. Really liked the way that Omori was able to get back on the ball to get underneath it and use his momentum to come through the ball. Friend Mick was saying about the bus subway in New York, and that's how it is, no cash. That was before COVID. Yeah, probably in that situation. So here's the first offering now to the left-handed hitting Hiranuma, who takes it for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Our friend Alexander Leggett says a underwhelming show from the Lions so far, to say the least. Yeah, in this ball game here, that is for sure. It's definitely been underwhelming from the Saitama Seibu Lions. Comes the 0-1 pitch as the right-hander kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right field. Moving over underneath it is Yanagita. He makes the catch. That is going to do it as the Lions are retired here in the 5th inning, but they do get a run back. There was a run in the inning on 2 hits. There was no errors and 1 runner left aboard. We're through 4.5. It is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 5 and the Saitama Seibu Lions 1. The manager, Suji, is out talking to the umpires. That usually means we're going to have a pitching change, so stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back in a few. Looks like the Lions are going to their bullpen. We'll see what they're going to bring out. So hang tight. We'll be right back. Might be too little, too late. Welcome back, everybody. We are now moving to the bottom of the 5th inning. And the way things are looking is that could be the end of the night for the Fukuoka pitcher as well. So Higashiyama, looks like his night is going to be over, as they will be turning it over to the bullpen as well. But we are taking a look to see what they are bringing out here for the Saitama Seibu Lions, as we expect that they are going to the bullpen with the manager, Suji, who has been able to do it. It looks like we might have a new catcher on our hands here. I don't know if that's Tomoya Mori still behind the plate or not, but it's definitely a right-hander that is in the ball game. And we'll get you the specs here in just a couple moments, as it is going to be Honda in the ball game here for the Lions. So Honda on in relief, Evimai. Honda on the season, and this is Kazuki Honda. 45 appearances, 4 wins and 2 losses. He worked 50 and a third innings. He'd given up 37 hits, 15 walks, 33 strikeouts. And he had a ERA of 197, so he is going to be on here. He'll be facing the top of the order in Momori, Shudo, and Makihara. So, Keisuke Honda on in relief. We'll see what he has to offer here tonight. The first pitch is a split finger pitch swung on and fouled away. The count is quickly 0-1 to Mamori. So no balls and 1 strike. We're here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Fukuoka has a 5-1 lead over the Lions. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, it's a fastball that just misses for a ball, and the count is 1-1. Again, we were talking about the umpiring behind the plate tonight. Not what I would expect to see from a playoff caliber officiating crew. I think a lot of the pitches here tonight, especially on the borderline ones for both teams, have been suspect. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into center field. Moving back on it is O'Grady, and he's going to make the grab. And that's going to retire Mamori for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away, and that's going to bring up the third baseman, Yukio Shudo. Well, for Shudo tonight, he's been on board both times he's come to the plate. He doubled in the first, and he reached on a fielder's choice in the third, and he later came around and scored on the grand slam by Yuki Yanagita. In the series, he is 3 for 5. He's got himself a couple of RBI. He's got 1 RBI and a couple of runs scored. There's a breaking ball that misses down and in. The count is 1-0 to Shudo. Shudo off to a strong start in the playoffs here. As the right-hander Honda kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on, is grounded up the middle. Genda fields it, but he's not going to have a play at first to get the speedy Shudo. It's going to be yet another base hit. Shudo is living on the base paths in Fukuoka. He's getting a nice round of applause from the home crowd. Ball there almost fielded by the pitcher. He got underneath his glove. Genda ranged to his left, was able to get it up the middle, but he had no shot able to get Shudo at first base. But keep your eyes on him. He does like to run. As we mentioned, he had over 20 stolen bases during the year. In fact, it was 22. So Shudo on the base paths yet again. Well, that brings Taisi Makihara to the plate. Makihara is officially 0 for 1 tonight. He was hit by a pitch his last time up and came around on the grand slam homer by Yuki Yanagita as he scored the 3rd run of the ball game for the Hawks. As they throw over to first base and diving back in time as the base runner Shudo. So the right-hander Honda holds set. Again, he throws over to first, and again diving back in time as the base runner Shudo. As we said, just a couple of reminders. If there is a Game 3 in this series, we'll be back on again tomorrow with the call. If there is not a Game 3 in this series, then we will take a look at the Central League. And if that game is going to be going ahead, then we will look to do that one. But right now, Yokohama has a 1-0 lead over the Tigers. That game is in the top of the 6th inning. There's a pitch that is swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1 to Makihara. 1-0 in the top of the 6th as the Bay Stars have the lead over Hanshin. Shudo has a very healthy lead at first base. He's got almost 2 feet on the turf. It's an unheard of lead. He's got 1 foot definitely on the turf. The other foot is on the dirt side, but very, very close to 2 feet on the turf. Lots of pressure on the defense. Again, he establishes his lead. No balls and 1 strike it is here to the batter Makihara. Right-hander comes to the set position. And Honda again throws over to first, and again diving back in time is the runner Shudo. We're looking at the lineup. It does still look like, at first I thought, may have a different catcher other than Tomoya Mori behind the plate, but it is still Mori. And here's the pitch from Honda. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to short. They go to second for 1. Back to first. and it's not in time. Makihara was able to get down the line in a hurry to be able to beat that out. We're going to see that it is at the bare minimum a fielder's choice. That's twice tonight they haven't been able to turn the double play. It's going to go down this time as a fielder's choice, 6-4 to get Shudo for the second out. Makihara has now traded places, and I guess if you're going to have a base runner, I'd rather have it Makihara than Shudo. Shudo can really, really run. So Yuki Yanagita strides to the plate. He is 1 for 2 tonight. That grand slam back in the third inning jump-started the Hawks offense. He's got 7 RBIs in the 2 games here. There's a first pitch breaking ball that misses up and away, and the count is 1-0. I was saying earlier, the difference in this series for me, the offense of the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, very, very strong. And of course, their pitching to go with it and their bullpen. The Lions bullpen has been very good this year. But I think the Hawks, there's not a whole lot between the 2 bullpens, that's for sure. Starting pitching will be the difference, or is the difference in this one. That's Kodai Senga you saw last night, and then tonight, Yashiyama was able to wiggle his way out of jams and be able to perform as he should and put the Hawks in a position where they can bring this one home. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Yanagita. Then the right-hander Honda delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted into shallow left center field. Moving over to his right is Kaneko. He makes the grab, and that is going to do it here in the 5th inning. There was no runs in the inning. There was a hit. There were no errors, and there was 1 runner left aboard. We are now through 5 complete. Your score is the Fukuoka. We're going to take a little bit of a break. We're going to put the song on loop. We'll come back and give you all the calls in just a few minutes. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We are in our proverbial Japanese halftime, and that means they have an extended break between the 5th and the 6th innings. And we are going to go and take a look at Major League Baseball's out-of-town scoreboard. It is all finals, of course, from across North American games, the 4 wildcard games. 3 of the series are now over. We'll start off in the American League. The Tampa Bay Rays only scored 1 run in 24 innings against the Cleveland Guardians. Sam Hentges got the win in relief for the Guardians today. Corey Kluber took the loss. It was a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 15th inning by Oscar Gonzalez to give the Guardians a 1-0 victory over Tampa Bay, a extremely well-pitched ball game in that one. In a game that was a topsy-turvy affair, the Toronto Blue Jays jumped out to an 8-1 lead through 5 innings against the Seattle Mariners. But it was the Mariners who were the last ones standing as they were able to battle back. They scored 4 in the 6th, 4 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th, and knocked off the Blue Jays 10-9. 10-13-0 for the Mariners, 9-12-1 for the Blue Jays. Munoz got the win in relief. Romano took the loss, and George Kirby got the save. It was Santana with a home run in that one, and Teoscar Hernandez hit 2 for the Blue Jays. That is where that one stood. National League games. Well, in the National League, it was the Philadelphia Phillies knocking off the St. Louis Cardinals 2-0. Aaron Nola, he got the win. Miles Michaelis took the loss, the former Yomiuri Giant. And then Zach Eflin picked up a save in that one. And then it was Bryce Harper who got the scoring going in the second inning with a solo shot. And he had one of the 2 runs. The other game, the Mets now are going to be playing a third game, as they were that's the only series that is going to go the distance, as the Mets knocked off the Padres 7-3. Well, we're ready to resume the action here, as it is going to be Ozeki on the mound for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, and he delivers a first pitch fastball that swung on and fouled away, and the count is quickly 0-1. So it is the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. It's Tomoya Mori, and it is Hatake Yamakawa and Brian O'Grady to face the lefty Ozeki, who is on in relief. So no balls and 1 strike to Mori. Ozeki rocks into the motion and delivers. There's a fastball at 95 miles an hour that just misses outside. The count is now 1-1 to Tomoya Mori. Ozeki on the season, the left-hander, was on in relief. Kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted foul. It's going to reach the seats over on the third base side, and the count is now 1-2 to Mori. The young left-hander, he has appeared in 21 ball games this year. He had a 7-6 record. Had quite a few starts. He went 101 in the third innings. Allowed 88 hits, walked 28, and struck out 70. He whistled to an ERA of 2.93 is the specs on him. So here comes the 1-2 pitch to Tomoya Mori. As he kicks and delivers, it's a fastball that misses down and away. The count is now 2-2. Ozeki is going to be 25 after the season. The 24-year-old is in his second year with the Hawks. He was originally a second-round draft pick in the development player phase of the 2019 draft. There's a breaking ball swung on. It's grounded over to second, fielded neatly by the second baseman Mamori, who throws to first. And Tomoya Mori is retired on a ground out 4-3 for out number 1. That's going to bring up the first baseman Hatake Yamakawa. Well, for Yamakawa tonight, he's officially 0 for 2. He's 0 for 4 on the series. He has got himself, he's been on board a couple of times. He had 2 walks in last night's game. One was intentional. So the big fella ready to hit here. As Ozeki rocks into the windup and he kicks and delivers. And the first pitch is a fastball that misses outside for ball 1. And the count is 1-0. 94 miles an hour on that last pitch. Yamakawa, we said, led the Pacific League in home runs, but he's only worth 1 point. If he was able to run into something, there's nobody on base in front of him. There's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Yamakawa. 5-1 lead here in the top of the 6th inning. We have to update our ticker, as it is a 5-1 lead here for the Fukuoka Ball Club. And they are looking to cement this series and finish it off here tonight. As there is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 1-2 to Yamakawa. If they can do that, then it'll be a date with the Oryx Buffaloes to decide the Pacific League Championship. There's a fastball swung on. It's almost like a check swing in self-defense. As that ball sails into the seats, the count is going to remain at 1-2 to Yamakawa. I was saying this before, it's only one time this year that we saw the dome open. Our friend Alexander says he's back. Well, we appreciate you when you're here, and we appreciate you when you leave, too. There's a fastball that swung on his lifted into right center field. Moving over underneath it is the center fielder, Makihara, and he's going to make the catch. That is going to retire Yamakawa for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away, and that will bring up the center fielder, Brian O'Grady. Well, O'Grady tonight is 0 for 1. He popped out to the third baseman his first time up, and he drew a walk his last time to the dish. He is going to bat here with 2 gone in the 6th inning. There's only 10 outs left in the Lions season unless they can figure out a way to get something going. And here comes the first offering from Ozeki. It's a fastball that just misses outside for ball 1. And the count is 1-0. O'Grady had himself a double-digit year in home runs. He was among the leaders in the Pacific League. And here comes the pitch. It's a fastball that catches the outside corner. And the count is 1-1. Our friend Alexander says, with his single card purchase, I'm your biggest sponsor by far. Now, we've had a few others. That is for sure. Here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that catches the outside corner. The count is now 1-2 strikes to O'Grady. I am looking next year. We are going to not change some of the format, but we are going to increase the format of what we're doing. Of course, with the Japanese games. As here comes the 1-2 offering from the lefty who kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses down. The count is now 2-2. He says he's going to have to purchase another card. I'm thinking about kind of Washington Nationals there might be out there. We just posted some stuff recently, some minor league stuff. I can't think of anything Washington-wise that was a real banger. There's a fastball swung on, is popped up over on the third base side. It's playable. Moving over underneath it is the third baseman, Shudo. He makes the grab, and that is going to do it. That's going to retire the side here as Shudo makes the catch. 3 up and 3 down here for the Lions in their half of the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 5.5 innings in Fukuoka. It's the Hawks 5 and the Lions 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few minutes after this. We appreciate you guys for being with us. We're glad you are here. Hang tight. We'll be right back. We'll talk football with our friend Alexander Leggett. Welcome back, everybody, and we got CV Baseball Card Collector in the house. We welcome you for popping in, and thanks for stopping by. That tells me probably that Crafty is done for the night, as that is where some of our followers will go over and hang out and listen to Warcraft, Ohio, and see what he has to offer. But we are in a ball game here. It is the bottom of the 6th inning. It is a 5-1 lead for Fukuoka over the Seibu Lions. We anticipate that there will be a pitching change here, or possibly they may stay with Honda for yet another inning. Have to see what the Lions have in mind. The manager, Fujimoto, also curious to see what he has in mind. But it is going to be a pitching change. It's going to be Birch Smith coming in the ball game. So Birch Smith on in relief, as he will be taking over. He is going to be the third pitcher used tonight by the Seibu Lions. So Smith on in relief. He had some starts for the Lions this year, and he's also had some Opportunities where he has come out of the bullpen, especially more toward the back end of the year. So that is where we stand there. We've got our friend Alexander Leggett says that you have to look at some of the football stuff. There's the first pitch breaking ball swung on. It is tapped slowly over to third. It is fielded by Hiranuma, who throws to first on the run, and that's going to retire Alfredo Despani on a ground out 5-3. So one pitch and one away, and that's going to bring up the first baseman, Akira Nakamura. Our friend Alexander Leggett there. I don't know if there's anything that would interest you. I've got some weird stuff that's floating around here, and if you're gonna thinking about buying something, I should probably talk to you about maybe trying to sell you something that you might actually have a greater interest in. I may have some Detroit Lion programs from back either in the 80s or early 90s. There's a breaking ball that misses down for ball one. The count is 1-0. But the one I'm specifically thinking of is a Washington Redskin game day program that the Lions had put out. So you got a lot of read on the Redskins. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-1. So we used to have some of that stuff floating around. I just don't know if I have that particular game. I know I have a couple of Redskin games that were back in the day. That might be something if you're interested in. We can talk about it. And there's a fastball that is swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side. And the count goes now to 1-2 to Akira Nakamura. Our friend Mick says, I want to meet Mark Emery. Not sure who Mark Emery is. Or you mean Mark? No, maybe not. I'm not sure. So here comes the 1-2 pitch as Smith delivers. It's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Alex says he's a Dolphins fan, never really liked the Redskins. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. The count is 2-2. Well, I can't help you in that program department for Dolphins. I've never actually seen the Dolphins play. I remember back in the day when I was a kid, the Killer Bees were the big thing. Baumauer, Bowers, Beaucamp. I can't remember the other ones, but they had like about 5 or 6 guys' names that started with B's on the defense. There's a fastball swung on it. It's popped up into shallow center field. Coming in on it is the center fielder O'Grady, who makes the catch. And that is going to put Nakamura away for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away. That's going to leave it all up to Kenta Imamiya. We've got Trevor Parker in the house. He says he's got the Packers, Bucks, and Bills tomorrow for his bet. Well, if I'm not mistaken, the Bills are playing the Steelers. They should slap the Steelers around the park tomorrow. I don't know about the Packers and the Bucks. I'd have to go look. I know that the Lions are playing the Patriots. There's a breaking ball that misses upstairs. The count is 1-0 to Imamiya. Imamiya tonight is 0 for 2, 1 for 6 on the series. As the pitch from Smith is delivered, there's a fastball that comes inside. They appeal to the first base umpire, but they say Imamiya didn't go. The count is now 2-0. I'm a Detroit Lion fan, and I know they play the Patriots tomorrow. The problem with that is that's a weird game to think about. Normally, I would pick that as a loss for Detroit. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 2-1. The problem I have with it is that the Patriots are starting their third string quarterback. So I'm not sure what that will entail. There's a fastball swung on. It is lined just foul down the right field line, and the count goes to 2-2 on Imamiya. Imamiya didn't quite get the bat head on that one. Mick says he had him do a bet with the Bills spread of, but 14 is too big. Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Steelers are starting Kenny Pickett tomorrow, and Kenny's going to be running for his life. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and that is going to do it here. That was a pretty quick inning by Bert Smith. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now through 6 complete innings in Fukuoka. It is the Hawks 5 and the Lions 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll We'll be back here in just a few minutes. We appreciate you guys for being here. We'll talk more about the other stuff that's going on after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the top of the seventh inning. It is the Hawks 5 and the Lions 1. I was looking at some of this stuff here, and I'm just trying to reach some of those ones. I'm looking at our friend the living room is looking at Momoka. Of course, a CV baseball card collector has got his ones that he's picking out as well. Just looking at some of that stuff. Trevor Parker says that the Bills are at home. Yeah, the Bills are at home, and I just think the Steelers are in a whole host of trouble in that one. As I said, Kenny Pickett's going to be running for his life. There is a defensive substitution, as it looks like that the first baseman, Akira Nakamura, is done for the night. So we'll have to catch up on that when we see the lineup change. The first pitch that's delivered to Takumi Kuriyama is a fastball swung on and fouled away. Count is 0-1. Kuriyama tonight is 1 for 2. He had a double back in the second inning. He also grounded as short as last time up. And here's the pitch from Ozeki. It's a fastball swung on. Ball's lifted into deep center field, but moving back into his right and making the catch is Taisi Makihara, and that is going to retire Kuriyama for the first out of the inning. One up and one away, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Ido. And now are we going to get a pitching change here? It looks like that the manager Fujimoto has come out as he's said something to the home plate umpire, and it looks like that Ozeki's day may be finished. We're going to take a look here, and that looks like it's exactly what it is. Smiles all around, and Ozeki walks off the mound. He's getting a nice round of applause, but we are going to have ourselves a pitching change. And while that happens, we're going to take ourselves a little break here, and we'll come back and carry on here in just a couple moments. I've got my tea going on. I'm going to put you guys on the loop here, so you guys will be able to get a couple of these here songs as you go, but we'll be back in just a few. Hang tight. Well, we'll give you the loop. Got to find it first. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be Hiroki Matsumoto, the right-hander, coming on in relief for the Hawks. Matsumoto has worked in 44 ball games during the regular season. He has a 5-1 record, 50 and 2/3 innings pitched, 40 hits. He has walked 14 and struck out 60, and he's got an ERA of 2.66. He's on to face the right-handed hitting right fielder in Ito. Then he'll have to face Suzuki Genda after that. So here comes the first offering to Ito. As the right-hander Matsumoto kicks and delivers, it's a fastball swung on and missed. The count is quickly 0-1. That last pitch registered up at 96 plus miles an hour on the radar gun. Matsumoto can bring the heat. He's got this bright blue glove. And here comes the 0-1 offering as he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. I'm just thinking in between here, and I was thinking about the games that we've called through the year. There was one game that I remember early on. We did a preseason game between the Hanshin Tigers and the Oryx Buffaloes. And here we are late in the year, and of course, both those teams are in the playoffs. And the pitcher for the Tigers had come into the ball game, and he had walked 4 consecutive batters and threw 16 straight balls in a row or something crazy like that, or 16 out of 17 pitches were balls. And then he hit a guy, and the next thing you know, the game was over. Or he threw a wild pitch, I think it was, to the backstop, and the game was over. So he walked the bases loaded, walked in the tying run, and wild pitched in the winning run. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and Ito is down on strikes for the second out of the inning. That's going to leave it all up to Suzuki Genda. And I'm thinking of some of the wild things that we've seen this year in the ball games in the Japanese League. How about the game between the Kaido Nippon Ham Fighters? I forget who they were playing at the time. Might have been the Seibu Lions here. Or maybe it was the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles where they played that neutral site game, the stadium that didn't have any lights. And the game was called 3 hours plus into the ball game because of darkness. The game ended in a tie, and there were people that were in our stream that were going nuts. There's a fastball swung on it. It's popped up softly into foul territory. Shudo racing hard. He's going to make the catch. And that is going to do it as Genda is retired on the pop-out for the third out of the inning. That will do it here in the top of the 7th inning. So the Lions go quietly. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now through 6.5 innings in Fukuoka. It is a 5-1 lead. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back with just a couple moments. We appreciate you guys for being with us. Would you like to support Last Drafts Baseball? We would appreciate it if you did. Be sure to check out our eBay page where we have baseball merchandise. We also have stuff from the Japanese League for those who listen from Japan, but we also do other sports like football and basketball as well. Don't forget, visit Last Drafts Baseball's eBay store to help support the channel. We'll be glad you did. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves now slowly into the bottom of the 7th inning. It's going to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters to come to bat for the Hawks. That means Tetsuro Yanagamachi, Takuya Kai, and the top of the order, Masaki Momori. If you are watching this, it is the 7th inning stretch. They've got a pink vehicle out in right center field that they have on a hydraulic type crane or type push piece. Lifts it up in, and they are doing their cheering. The cheerleaders are out on the field doing their dance. It is good times all around if you are a Fukuoka fan, as they have a 5-1 lead. Everything is looking like it is lining up in their favor. If pitching can get the final 6 outs without any issues, the ball game will be pretty much in the bag for Fukuoka. And not only the game, but it will be the series. So it is, we said the 8, 9, and 1 hitters to come to bat. We're just looking to see if they are going to make another pitching change. Bert Smith came in and pitched a wonderful bottom of the 6th inning. And it is going to be a pitching change. They are going to the bullpen. This is where the game really slows down. It's going to be Masuda coming in. Masuda is, typically speaking, he has been in the past their closer. He's got 31 saves on the year. Got himself a 2-5 record. And the first pitch to Yanagamachi is a fastball that misses outside for ball 1. And the count is 1-0. So Masuda in the ball game. So Tatsushi Matsuda on in relief. He is the 4th pitcher used by Tsuji tonight. There's a fastball swung on and missed. The count is now 1-1. So Masuda getting some work in here. Of course, they are down right now with a scoreline of 5-1. There's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into left center field. Racing over, and it's going to get down in between O'Grady and Kaneko. Digging hard for second and rounding second. But he's going to hold at second with a double is Yanagamachi. It's going to be his first hit of the evening, as he is now aboard with a leadoff double here in the 7th, and that is going to bring up Takuya Kai. Our friend Trevor Parker said he remembered that game. He was involved in that bet and it voided his bet. That was crazy. It was absolute insanity watching that game. I think it was maybe the Tohoku Racket, the Golden Eagles, that were playing that night. Our friend Mick lives in Denver. My friend was working that game the other day. She's a flight attendant, still lives in Denver for now. And she is, I've done some work at the Bronco game. So Thursday night, she was working in the third deck. She serves beers or does something like that. She gets a chance to watch the games. And here comes Takuya Kai to the plate. So with the runner at second base, Kai is in the game and he's trying to bunt. They throw down to second. Getting back in time is the base runner. It is a pinch runner, by the way, for Yanagamachi. I didn't get the number on it. It looks like it could be Kawase, as that is typically somebody who can come in to run and also play in some defensive positions. I'm going to have to get the number of the pinch runner. So 1 ball and no strikes to Takuya Kai. Kai steps out, takes a few practice swings. As Masuda gets his sign now, as he's back in there, he is squaring to bunt. So they're going to try to get this runner over to third. The pitch is delivered. It's a fastball. It's bunted down, but it is just going to go foul down the third base line. As the count now even at 1 ball and 1 strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Takuya Kai. Our friend Mick says he remembers the Crazy Oryx game that you commentated. That might have been a different one. The preseason game that we did with Oryx was the one with the Hanshin Tigers. And that was the walkathon by the Hanshin pitcher. It was just walk, hit batter, ball game over. There's a fastball delivered. It's bunted back to the pitcher, and it is fielded. They're going to go to first. It's going to be a sacrifice for Kai. That's going to go down as 1-4. Advancing over to third is the pinch runner for Yanagamachi. It's going to put a runner at third with 1 gone, and that'll bring up the top of the order in Masaki Momori. So one would have to think at this point in the game, it is going to be the Lions will be playing that infield in, trying to cut a run off at the plate. Just taking a look at my feeds here. We're going to have our B feed up here a little bit. This is going to stand. Where our A feed is a little bit grainy. So we're going to have to try to do a little bit of that. They had the pitching coach had come out and had a word with the closer or the normal closer, Masuda. So it looks like we got everything straightened out here. It is actually Sato who is the pinch runner over at third base. And Mamori up at the plate. It is not out of the question that they might consider a suicide squeeze situation here. So all eyes on the hitter, Mamori. The infield is in. There's one gone. Here comes the first pitch, and he's swinging away, and he fouls it right into his right foot for a strike one. No balls and one strike. Yeah, that's even Mick said the Cardinals yesterday snatched defeat out of the jaws of victory as they gave up that 6th spot in the 9th inning. Unbelievable. And then the Phillies never looked back. If you're Philadelphia, you're laughing. Oh boy, here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that misses inside, and it backs Mamori off the plate. We saw that last night from the catcher, Tomoya Mori. Tomoya Mori doesn't just set up inside. The batter, Mamori, is right up on the plate. He is toes to the chalk in the left-handed batter's box. And Mamori goes so far inside, he lines literally right up behind the hitter. And so if he actually threw the pitch where you wanted it, he probably would have drilled the hitter. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 2-1. And in yesterday's case, Yanagamachi was the one who got drilled. So I don't know if they're ordering up a knockdown or if they just really want the pitcher to come that far inside. But Tomoya Mori, the catcher, literally goes in behind the hitter, who is right on the chalk line of the batter's box. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Masaki Mamori. The right-hander Masuda kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on, and it's grounded foul down the third base line. Runs the count even at 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yukio Shudo waits his turn on deck. The home plate umpire gets out and dusts the plate off. We're ready to go. One thing, I'd be curious to know what the length of games are in Major League Baseball. When you go to the NPB website, they tell you exactly what the average length of game is in the NPB. It was 3 hours and 9 minutes in the regular season, and that's for a 9-inning game, not including games that go extra innings. There's a fastball swung on, and it's fouled away. Mori does a good job of battling that one off. I can live with a 3 hour and 9-minute game. In fact, I can live with a 3-hour game if they can work in that window. But where they lose the time, and I was just about to say in the last couple innings, is when the pitching changes occur, just how slow they are to get the pitchers out of the bullpen or wherever they have to come from to get them to the mound. And then they go through a battery of warm-ups. That's where the game really, really, really starts to slow down. And you see that here in the Japanese league. Our friend, the living room, says it's pouring in Yokohama right now. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into left center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. And Mamori has got himself an RBI single. It's going to increase the lead for the Hawks to 6-1. And at this point here, I'd almost say it's insurmountable, but after watching the Blue Jay Mariner game today, who knows? Anything can happen. But that is now a 6-1 scoreline. So maybe all the people that were in listening to the Yokohama game or watching that are now going to bounce in here and hang out with us as they're looking for cover. Alexander says not sure how much longer he can hang on here. He wants to pass out. I want to pass out too. But unfortunately, we got to call the rest of this one for you. This one here is starting to turn into a snoozer. So Yukio Shudo steps to the plate. He's got a couple of hits in 3 trips. He also reached on a fielder's choice. Shudo on the series is 4 for 6. He's got himself an RBI and a couple of runs scored. So here comes the offering from Masuda. 6-1 is the Hawks. In front, there's a fastball swung on. It is grounded to the right side. It is fielded by Tonosaki. He throws to first. That is going to retire. Ground out 4-3. for the second out of the inning, and that is going to advance Mamori over to second. And Makihara now coming to the plate. Our friend Alex says he's going to stay up. No work tomorrow. Well, if we do a game tomorrow night, it more than likely won't be this one. And if it is the Yokohama Hanshin game, no work on Monday either. Well, for most people north of the border, as it is a holiday in Canada, it's Thanksgiving weekend for the Canadians, but I got to be up at 5:30 on Monday morning. And I've got ourselves a turkey tournament that we are involved in. There's a fastball swung on, and it is fouled away, and the count is 0-1. Nothing like baseball in October with beautiful weather. We have had a drought here in the fall, and you got to love it. I can't remember the last time we've had rain in this part of the country. So no balls and one strike to Makihara. Makihara tonight is officially 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch and scored a run back in the third inning. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into deep center field. It's over the head of O'Grady. It's going to be off the wall. That's going to be the 7th run of the ball game that's going to get cashed in. And they get that ball back in. And standing on third with a triple is Makihara. They had to play the outfield shallow because a base hit. They need to be able to come up throwing to be able to throw the runner out. Ball was smoked over the head of O'Grady. Mamori comes around to score the 7th run of the ball game. A triple by Makihara. That is going to bring up the right fielder, Yuki Yanagita. A friend of the living room says turkeys can't play baseball. It's true, but the wild turkeys that have been going around that Windsor-Essex County area probably would be a nice feast on somebody's dinner table. Alexander says the fall has been beautiful after the latest storm settled. Well, that looks like it's going to be it for Masuda. Why they brought the closer in the 7th inning, I don't know. He's doing a slow walk to the dugout as the Saitama Seibu Lions are going to the bullpen again, as they are going to be making a pitching change. We're going to take a little time out here. Now I can go and finish making the rest of my tea. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back. Got some hot tea on the way. We'll put the songs on a loop for you once again. Be right back in just a couple moments after this. Or this. Welcome back, everybody. It is a pitching change, and I'm going to confirm it, but it looks like it is Katsuhiko Kuman who is coming into the ball game to face Yuki Yanagita, a left-hander against a left-hander. So that is the end of the night for Masuda, the starting pitcher. There is two gone, a runner at third, and Yanagita at the plate. And here comes the first offering from the lefty Kuman. It is a breaking ball that is waved at and missed. The count is quickly 0-1 to Yanagita. Lefties against Yanagita, they are not his friend for sure. So Kuman in on relief. He is now the 5th pitcher used by the Lions tonight. As the Hawks are batting here in the bottom of the 7th inning, there's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Friend Alexander Leggett said the runs might start pouring in with the outfield shift. Well, certainly in that situation, when you've got a runner at second base, you got to play the outfield in shallow, because if it's a single, you got to be able to throw him out at the plate. That ball was spanked over the head of O'Grady, and it was kind of positionally, you had no choice but to play him there, and that ended up allowing the triple to occur. As the breaking ball swung on and missed, the count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yuki Yanagita tonight is 1 for 3. He's got a homer in 3 trips, and it was the Grand Slam variety. He also homered in last night's game. He is 3 for 6 in the series. He's got 2 homers and 7 runs batted in. If you give out MVPs, he would be the guy. There's a breaking ball waved out and missed. And Yanagita is down on strikes for the 3rd out of the inning. And that is going to do it here. Well, they got a couple of more runs, did the Hawks, in their half. They got 2 runs on 3 hits. There were no errors, and there was a runner left aboard. We are now through 7 complete. It is Fukuoka 7 and the Seibu Lions 1. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the top of the 8th inning in just a couple moments. Appreciate you guys all for being here with us. Got nothing else to do? Check out our Bunt Digital stuff. This was from last year. Are you into digital cards? Last Raps Baseball has you covered as we do daily Topps Bunt Digital 21 card breaks. This new wave of collecting allows baseball fans to collect digital cards and compete against each other for prizes. Check out our daily breaks and send us a trade to Last Raps. Be sure to tell your friends. Welcome back, everybody. We are cruising right along here as we are in the top of the 8th inning and coming to bat for the Seibu Lions. It is going to be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters. It'll be Yuji Kaneko, Shuta Tonosaki, and Shuta Hiranuma. So a couple of Shutas in the ball game. They are going yet again to the bullpen, the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. So it was only a 1 batter for Matsumoto, and his night is over. So we have ourselves a new pitcher on the hill. And this is going to be Fuji, the right-hander who has enjoyed himself a very nice season for Fukuoka. Fuji is 5-1 on the year. He worked in 55 ball games. He has a 5-1 record, as we mentioned, 56 in the 3rd innings, 18 hits. Walked 27, struck out 81, and he's got an ERA of 1.12. This is Kuya Fuji on in relief. It's going to be pitcher number 4 used tonight by the Hawks. So in getting a little bit of work in for the next series, one would think, as there's going to be a little bit of a gap on the in-between. And the first pitch is a breaking ball, is a fastball swung on and missed. The count is 1-0. It looked like it had a little bit of cut to it. Kaneko tonight is 2 for 2. He's got a single, a double, and he's also driven in a run. He's 3 for 6 in the series. As our left-handed hitting left fielder waits on the offering, it's a fastball that is swung through and missed, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. I don't know what it is. Sometimes our A feed gets a little bit to the grainy side, so we have to tap over to the B feed. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on and missed. And Kaneko is down on strikes, as he is retired here for the first out of the inning. One up and one away, and that is going to bring up the top of the order and Shota Tanesaki. And then Shota Hiranuma will follow next. Our friend Alexander says it's going to be nothing but a steady diet of fastballs, and I agree with you here. There's no trickery here. Just go right after him with the good old-fashioned number one. And the first pitch is a fastball that misses down for ball one, and the count is 1-0. Especially at this time of the ball game, you want the other team to put the ball in play. Let your defense do the work. You have a 6-run spread here. So they need outs, and they are down to 5 more outs to go, or 5 more outs to get are the Hawks. As that fastball misses upstairs, the count is 2-0. You definitely don't want any stuff as well. Yeah, we've got our friend in the living room with the bee feed up there, no doubt. The bees are a-buzzing. Here comes the offering. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. Count is now 2 balls and 1 strike to Tanesaki. Tanesaki is 0 for 3 tonight. He is 1 for 7 in the series. He got the nod in the leadoff spot tonight. As they were trying to break up some of the stuff from last night. And ironically, the top 2 hitters in the order who they've dropped to the bottom part have been the ones who've been able to contribute 3 of the 4 hits for the Lions. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count is now 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike. One thing I still was not able to find out, the reason for Fuji had missed 3 years of ball. He had come from the Hiroshima Carp organization, and he did not play for 3 years at the NPB level. So I'm curious to see if he was a Tommy John candidate. There's a fastball that swung on and fouled away, and the count is now 3-2. Mick says he just Googled us. Yeah. You'll be able to see us here and there, and the good, the bad, and the ugly. There were no pictures of us in handcuffs, I'm sure, though, Mick. So here comes the 3-2 pitch. As the right-hander delivers, it's a fastball swung on. It is driven right back up the middle, and Tanesaki's got himself a single. So he's got himself a base hit. He says the UBC Thunderbird pick is epic. Yeah, sometimes that happens. I don't know. I haven't even looked at stuff for a while. So Tanesaki is aboard with a 1-out single. That brings up Shota Hiranuma. But it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter, as it is going to be the right-handed pinch hitting. It is going to be Nakamura. So Nakamura coming to the plate. Yeah, Nakamura. He had an opportunity in last night's ball game. There was a first pitch fastball that misses down for ball one. The count is 1-0. Wonder how much baseball Takia Nakamura has left in him. He is up around the 40-year-old mark. Maybe another year or two. Certainly a veteran bat in the lineup. Nakamura last night came in and he had a single in his only pinch hit at bat. As a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Mick says, I kind of looked irritated in the pick. Probably was. We'll have time for the photos. Let's get on to business. 1 ball and 1 strike. As the right-hander checks the runner at first base. And he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. The count is now 1-2. Our friend living room says, did he find his OnlyFans? When you find my OnlyFans page, let me know. Because I want to see what it's all about as well. Yeah, the OnlyFans page is we have to pay the people to come to it, whereas in most cases, you have to pay them to come to you. It's a little bit of a different twist. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. As Nakamura waiting here on the offering from Fuji. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down. But they go over to the third base umpire and they say that he did ring around. And have to take a look at that one there. We're going to see if he did go. Yeah, he sure did. The old plate umpire points it out and says, yep, Nakamura had one around. He's gone for out number 2. That's going to leave it all up to Tomoya Mori. Our friend Alexander says OnlyFans is technically safe for the work these days. Now, there you go. Probably those OnlyFans pages are probably the ones that are where people are, I guess, as he swings at a fastball, does Maury and fouls it away. Probably a recession-proof industry in some cases. Alexander says, amazing that it's yet another fastball. He's going to see this game through if it kills him. Well, no balls and 1 strike to Maury. Take a look to see if there's anything else going on in that out-of-town scoreboard. If that game is still in a delay. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball that misses upstairs. It says that Yokohama is currently batting in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's still a 1-0 ball game. So 1 ball and 1 strike we have here to Maury as the Lions are batting in the top of the 8th inning here. It's kind of funny. I got one of those Kenko balls when I was in Japan a couple of years ago. Those are the rubber balls that are played with. There's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. The count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Maury. Right-hander Fuji looking to finish off the Lions here in their half of the 8th inning. He holds at the set position. And now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is now 2-2 to Tomoya Mori. Mick says he's got his coffee. I got my tea, so this game ended up being tied up and we went extra innings. We'll be able to go a little further. But that's what we're hoping for. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. As Mori is waiting here on the offering from Fuji. As Fuji holds at the chest, and now he delivers. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. It's going to reach the seats over behind the third base dugout. The count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. One of the things that I'm definitely looking to do, I'm thinking about next year, maybe the last week of August, the first bit of September, making my way over to Japan. I think if I was able to do that, I'm going to start looking at the flights and start looking at some of that stuff now. Get myself planned and prepared to possibly be able to go. The fastball swung on it, is grounded over to first. Nice play by the first baseman who flips it underhanded to Fuji. And that is going to retire the runner. That was the defensive replacement for Nakamura. Goes down as a ground out 1-3. And that is going to do it here for the third out of the inning. Well, no runs in the inning. There was a hit. There was no errors, and there was 1 runner left to board. We're moving to the bottom of the 8th. And then the Lions will be down to their final 3 outs. It is a 7-1 score line for the Hawks. Stick around, everybody. We got our tea, we got our coffee, we got everything else. We'll be right back in just a few after this. Welcome back, everybody. I'm going to do a self-promotion right now. Hopefully you guys can check it out. I'm almost done a video. I was working on it here, and the part that I'm working on is actually has to do with strikeouts in a game. And I'm going to be posting it here in the next couple of days. So if you get a chance, come and check it out when it gets posted up. It's kind of a neat piece. It has to do with guys who've struck out 4 times, 5 times, 6 times in a ball game. and a little bit of history with that with regards to baseball. So when you get a chance, pop by the channel the next day or two when you see it go up. Just working on the finer piece. Not going to be a long video, probably about maybe 3 to 5 minutes in length. But just something I thought I was putting together I found quite amusing, especially today, as Andres Jimenez of the Cleveland Guardians in that 15-inning ball game struck out 5 times in the game. And he was on deck when Oscar Gonzalez had hit that home run. When it came to the plate, we might have had some history in the making for some playoff baseball to see somebody strike out 6 times in a ball game. Oh, boy. Well, we do have a pitching change, and we also have a new third baseman. So we'll get you those changes here in just a moment as the have gone to their bench, have the Lions. It is Takezawa who has come in to play third base. He's going to take over for it was Shota Hiranuma who was there, and of course Nakamura had come in to pinch hit for him. And the first pitch delivered to Alfredo Despania is grounded back to the pitcher, and that is going to retire Despania on a ground out 1-3 for the first out of the inning. So 1 pitch and 1 away. It is Tyra on the mound right now for the Seibu Lions as he is come on in relief. So this is Kaima Tyra, who is now on, a young right-hander who is, I say young right-hander, the 23-year-old who is in his 4th season at the NPB level. He had a beautiful play on the comebacker. He is the 6th pitcher that's been used tonight by the Seibu Lions. Now we have a pinch hitter at the plate. This is Kawase. The first pitch is a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is now 0-2 to Kawase. I missed that first pitch. Kawase was the defensive replacement for Nakamura. He made a beautiful play to help end that last inning. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. As we said, just a reminder, we are going to try to be able to do some of that stuff, or we're going to try to get the video out here in the next little bit. There's a fastball that is swung on and fouled away. That last pitch was at 99 miles an hour. So the right-hander Tyra wastes no time. He comes out with a power arm throwing gas. There's a breaking ball that misses up and away, and the count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Friend Mick says he's going to meet us down in Seattle at some point. Yeah, that could possibly work. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is now 2-2. Go down and see the Mariners play. It's always good to catch the Mariners. Usually, I try to get down a couple of times a year. I always try to get down in April or in May, maybe even in early March. Here's the pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is hit back off the pitcher, off his foot. It's fielded by the third baseman. They throw over to first. I think they're going to want to take a look at this on the VAR. Went off the heel of the pitcher, Tyra, over to the third baseman, who fielded the ball and fired to first. Would have been a 1-5-3 putout if it would have worked. Looked like he was playing soccer out there. That one there, just off the heel of the left foot of Tyra, went right to the third baseman, who fielded it barehanded through to first. I don't know if they're going to have a look at this one or not, or go upstairs. It's a bang-bang play. You got to give your hats off to Kawase. He's going to get himself a base hit single there. So he is aboard with a hit, and that is going to bring up Kenta Imamiya. So no challenge from the Lions. The first pitch is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. And here's the pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on. It is tapped slowly over to third. And this one's got a little bit of English on it, and it squirts by the third baseman. And that is Takezawa, who had that one eat him up. Not sure how they're going to score that one. I'm kind of curious. I don't even know if he touched it. There was so much English on that ball. Ended up squirting and just went by him on his throwing hand side. And it was a nice play by Genda backing up the play. As he came in, the ball just ended up getting away to him on his throwing hand side. That's going to put runners at first and second with 1 gone, and it's going to bring up It's scheduled to bring up Tetsuro Yanagamachi, but I don't think Yanagamachi is going to be batting here because, if I'm not mistaken, he was run for in that last half inning. So we'll see what we have here. They do have a pinch hitter coming in right now for the Hawks. The first pitch is a fastball that misses outside for ball one, and the count is 1-0. They are emptying the benches here. This is Nao Sato. He was the one who came in to run. So Naoki Sato takes a fastball that just misses outside, and the count is now 2-0. So Naoki Sato, who replaced Yanagamachi. Two balls and no strikes. And here comes the offering. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. Count is now 2-1. Friend Mick says his birthday's in March. March might need a Last Wraps merch basket. Yeah, by that time we'll have stuff in stock too. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike, and the count is now 2-2. Got some stuff I've been ordering here and putting in place as we've got to get our stock re-upped. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as the right-hander delivers a fastball that just misses off the outside corner. Counts now 3-2 to Sato. So Tyra here has had some unfortunate bounces not go his way after making that beautiful play to start the inning. So here comes the 3-2 pitch now to Sato. He kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded foul just past the bag at first base. That's going to keep the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Living Room says, fire Suji. Well, I think Suji has done a pretty good job this year with the ball club, and there's a fastball swung on and missed. That's going to retire Sato for the second out of the inning. Last year, I remember when they had Corey Spangenberg, they had all kinds of nonsense over there, and losing Shogo Akiyama a couple of years ago really took a piece out of the offense. But I think this has been a decent year, at least in terms of his managing. I don't think he's going anywhere yet. But they did fire Tadeguchi, did the Chibalote Marines. They relieved him of his duties. It was a first pitch breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Takuya Kai. Takuya Kai tonight is officially 1 for 1. He had a single back in the fourth. He had 2 sacrifice bunts. So 1 for 1 tonight for Kai. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is lined over the head of the second baseman into center field. Picking it up as O'Grady throws. They cut it off, and that is going to score a run. Scoring from second base is Kawase. It's going to be the 8th run of the ball game for the Hawks. Kenta Imamiya goes sliding safely into third. A single for Kai and an RBI has extended the lead to 8-1. And I just get the feeling that the sight of a Seibu Lions probably aren't coming back at this point. Mick says probably May or June he'll get to a Mariners game. We'll probably end up down there at some point during that time. May is not necessarily a great month for me to be able to get down there. June would probably be a little bit better. So 8-1 is the score line. There's runners on the corners with 2 gone, and the top of the order, Masaki Momori coming to the plate. Mori is 1 for 3 in this one. He's got a single and an RBI. He scored a run. He's also walked. Our friend Alexander Leggett is now in the house here saying it's 8-1. Absolutely. There's a fastball that's inside. The count is 1-0. This is usually where the games get to be a little interesting. Who knows what kind of craziness we're going to witness. And Tyre delivers a fastball that misses down, and the count is 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes to Momori. Maybe he should just take some numbers here and drill somebody. Setting up here, and here's the pitch. It is a fastball, and it's Fouled away, and the count is 2-1. Set the tone for next year. So the Hawks will be able to remember something like that. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Momori. Yukio Shudo waits his turn on deck. If it does turn over to Shudo, well, you can anticipate that something will probably happen as Shudo's had himself a decent night. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted foul down the third base line. It's just going to hit the wall where the temporary seating is. It's going to keep the count, or bring the count now to 2 balls and 2 strikes. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Momori. Kyra has started to really struggle here. 23 pitches so far. There was a fastball swung on. That was at 99 miles an hour. He just rearing back and letting her rip. And that's going to be 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Momori. He's got a power arm, does the young right-hander. But this is a pretty good Fukuoka ball club. They can hit the fastball. So here comes the 2-2 pitch as the right-hander delivers. It's a fastball taken for a called third strike. Momori stood there like the house by the side of the road, watched it go by for out number 3. And that is going to do it here for the Hawks in their half of the 8th inning. Well, they got a run in the inning on 3 hits. There were no errors, and there was 2 runners left aboard. We are now through 8 complete. It is the Hawks 8 and the Lions 1. Stick around, everybody. Yet another pitching change in Fukuoka. We'll be back in just a couple moments. We'll bring this one home for you after this. Appreciate you guys for being here. We'll be right back in just a couple moments. Welcome back, everybody. We do have a pitching change as the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks are going to the bullpen, and our friend Living Room is in there giving his side jokes, whatever else it might be. But no, actually, we have, that is it, man. We coach baseball, and that is it. Not much else that we do outside of that. It looks like we got Colin Ray on the mound. The American right-hander is coming in to get some work. So Colin Ray, he has pitched in 23 ball games. He's got a 5-6 record this year. The former San Diego Padre getting the nod here. He's worked 100 innings. He's allowed 82 hits, 32 walks. He has struck out 80, himself a 3.96 ERA. It's his second season that the former Padre, Marlin, and Cub is in the big leagues. Former product of Indiana State University. The 32-year-old right-hander is getting on the bump here today. So he completes his warm-up tosses. We're ready to go back at it again. It'll be the heart of the batting order. It's going to be Hotaka Yamakawa, Brian O'Grady, and Takumi Kuriyama to face Colin Ray. So Ray is the 5th pitcher used tonight by Fukuoka. So 0 for 5 in the series has been the big hitter Yamakawa. The first pitch is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. One thing that I would say about Yamakawa is he's got no protection really in the lineup. I like the fact that they put O'Grady in behind him because O'Grady's got some juice in the stick. O'Grady, I without looking at his numbers, I believe he had 14 or 15 homers this year. I don't know if that's enough protection for Yamakawa. There's a fastball, check that, a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-2. So when I look at Yamakawa here getting eaten up in this series, he's really had nothing good to hit. He might get one pitch per at bat that he has something decent to swing at. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into deep right center field, and this ball is going to reach the seats. It's a solo shot as he has taken Colin Ray the opposite way. And, here's the deal. He hits the home run here as I'm talking about it, but it's kind of a nothing home run. This is one of those home runs. Yeah, the score is 8-2 now. It's a solo shot. It's not like a 3-run homer and a chance where you've got a chance to take the lead. But it is a solo shot late in the game, and who cares? They can give up 3 or 4 more solo shots. You're still going to be down by 3 or 4 runs. So that's where we're at. One thing I don't like is all the high fives after he hit the home run. And he always does this after each home run where he does this swoop towards the sky. And he does that here. You're down by 7 runs. Now you're down by 6. It's not really the time for the big celebrations, but there's a first pitch delivered to O'Grady. It's swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Brian O'Grady. But I guess that's the baseball for some guys today. The celebrations mean more than the activity itself. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. Count is now 0-2. I'm not saying not to be happy about what you've done, but you're down by a touchdown. Yeah, Alexander Leggett says it the best. It's the one thing that bugs me about the Toronto Blue Jays, actually, and I'll get to that in a second. There's a fastball swung on it. It's popped up into shallow center field. Kenta Imamiya backpedals, and he makes the grab, and that's going to retire O'Grady for the first out of the inning. So 1 away, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Takumi Kuriyama. Really irks one of my buddies back home about watching the Blue Jays. The Toronto Blue Jays, you see on the bench, they got all the Latin guys at the one end of the bench. The other end of the bench, they got the black guys and the white guys. And it's almost a very Latin line that's been drawn. There's a split finger pitch that misses down for ball 1. And the count is 1-0. 1-0 to Takumi Kuriyama. Kuriyama is 1 for 3 tonight. As Ray kicks and delivers, it's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is 1-1. And so certainly the Blue Jays, they have this way about them, and started off with the manager, and there's a way where they're always celebrating and they're taking off their shirts and everything else. And they get into the playoffs and they can't win. It's a culture that's been built and fostered in that area. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-2. So they're really good at the celebrations. They're really good at the sideshow shenanigans, but they're not that good at baseball when it matters. That was on full display today. There's a breaking ball swung on it. It's grounded over to Imamiya at short, and it comes up and he catches it funny, and Imamiya has made an error. He's booted the ball. That's going to allow Kuriyama to reach first safely. So it's going to go down as an E6. Panned up at the screen. There's no doubt about it. That's as plain as day. As he went to pick it up, hit him right in the hands. Ball squirted away from him. So with 1 away, the Lions have a runner at first, and it is scheduled to come to bat. It is Ito, and Suzuki Genda is on deck. Alexander Leggett said, called it from the start. Good enough to get to the playoffs, but would choke at it. And here comes Ito to the plate. And here's the first pitch. It is a fastball swung on, and it's pop foul. It's going to reach the seats behind home plate. The count is quickly 0-1 to Ito. I think you're onto something there. I think that the Toronto Blue Jays organization has definitely got themselves a pickle here. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is driven into left field, moving over underneath it and making the grab is the left fielder. Looks like they've got Yukio Shudo moved out into left field. He's going to make that grab to put it away on Ito for the second out of the inning, and it's going to leave it all up to Suzuki Genda. So it looks like it's going to be the Lions' final at bat of the season here, or potentially final at bat of the season. Unless Genda can keep the conga line moving. Rick says he can't wait to see how that structure is going to look next season. So Genda tonight is 1 for 3. He's got a triple. He scored a run. He takes the first pitch outside for ball one, and the count is 1-0. 8-2, the Hawks have the lead here. Just as a reminder, we're going to wrap this one up when this one is done. So stick around. We'll do the recap, and as we take a quick look at that out-of-town scoreboard, the game is now a final. The Bay Stars have beaten the Tigers 1-0. So it looks like we're going to have some Central League baseball tomorrow night. Come on and join us. We'll call that game between the Bay Stars and the Tigers. And here comes the 1-1 pitch. It is a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count now is 1-2 strikes to Genda. So 1-2 strikes as the Lions aren't just a beaten team. They look like a beaten team, a haggard team. So 1-2 strikes to Genda. And here's the pitch from Colin Ray. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. Last pitch was at 95 miles an hour on the gun. The count remains at 1-2 strikes. The Hawks are going to move on and play the Oryx Buffaloes. And why not? The Oryx Buffaloes are the defending champions. The road goes through Osaka. The Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, who had won 4 straight. And there's a fastball that swung on and missed. And this ball game is over as Colin Ray retires Genda on strikes for the 3rd out of the inning. While they had a run in the inning, there was 1 hit, there was 1 error, and 1 runner left aboard. Your final score from Fukuoka, it is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 8, the Seibu Lions 2. Stick around, everybody. We'll come back and wrap this baby up in just a couple of moments. We appreciate you guys for being here. As I mentioned again, we will be back on the airwaves tomorrow. It'll be Tigers and Bay Stars. Hang on tight. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to take a quick peek at the box score on this one here. Well, the damage got going early in the 3rd inning after a leadoff walk to Tetsuro Yanagamachi. Takuya Kai sacrificed him over to second. Then Masaki Momori walked. He was erased on a fielder's choice. Then there was a Taisi Makihara was hit by a pitch, and then Yuki Yanagita hit a grand slam homer into right field to put the Hawks up 4-0 in the 3rd inning. The Hawks added to their lead in the 4th, a leadoff single by Akira Nakamura. And then he was moved over to a second on a ground out by Tetsuro Yanagamachi. And then Takuya Kai singled him home to make the score 5-0. The Lions got one back with 1 out in the 5th inning, a triple by Genda. He was brought home on an RBI double by Yuji Kaneko, and that cut the score to 5-1. While the Hawks continued to add on to their lead. In the 7th inning, they had a leadoff double from Yanagamachi. Sacrifice bunt from Kai moved him to 3rd. A single by Momori brought him home. That was an RBI. And then with 2 out, it was Taisi Makihara tripled home Momori, and that increased the scoreline to 7-1. In the 8th inning, they added another run to the tally as Kawase had a single to lead off the inning. And Mamiya then singled, and after a strikeout by Naoki Sato, Takuya Kai delivered a RBI single to make the score 8-1. And then in the top of the 9th inning, Otaki Yamakawa stepped up and deposited a home run, his only hit of the series, and your final score was 8-2. All right, everybody, we're going to be back on the airwaves again tomorrow night. Hopefully you can come and join us. It is going to be the Yokohama Bay Stars And the Hanshin Tigers will do some Central League action. It's going to go off at 10 o'clock Pacific or 1 a.m. Eastern. Hopefully you can join us. We'll put the link in our stream probably about midday tomorrow. We look forward to having everybody in here with us. Hopefully you can make it in. Appreciate it, Alexander Leggett, Mick, our friend in the living room, everybody else who was here, Officer Steam, you name it, everybody else. Whoever dropped in tonight, Trevor Parker, in case we missed anybody. Appreciate you guys for being here. Have a great night, everybody. We will see you again on the flip side. Get some good rest, and we'll be back at it again tomorrow. It should be an entertaining affair. Japanese playoff baseball.